Good afternoon to one and all gathered here. The skies are a little gloomy outside. It's raining heavily. To brighten our day, it's a honor to have a guiding light join us. Someone whose journey inspires and whose words enlighten. My dear aspirants, put your hands together to welcome our chief guest for the day, Mr. Venkadesh Narayanan. Mr. Narayanan is the principal consultant at Fhyzics Business Consultants Pvt. Limited. He is a mechanical engineer and an MBA with over 30 years of experience in procurement, supply chain management, business analysis, and new product development. He is a former member of the Indian Civil Services IRAS 2000 batch and has served with prestigious organizations such as the Indian Railways, Larsen & Toubro ECC, Siemens USA, Europro LLC USA, and Latex International USA before joining Physics. He is an approved board assessor for the Confederation of Indian Industry Institute of Logistics, having assessed over 30 warehouses across India, and has also served on the CII Affirmative Action Subcommittee during the 2017-2018 and 2019 batches. In academia, Mr. Narayanan is deeply involved in teaching and mentoring. He teaches the 3-credit course Business Analysis and Design at Bharatidasan Institute of Management, Trichy, covering topics such as business analysis, requirements gathering, testing, and deployment. He is also a visiting faculty at SSN School of Management, teaching the business analysis body of knowledge. Additionally, he serves as honorary director of KingMakers IAS Academy, guiding graduates towards the Indian Civil Services. Adding a unique dimension to his career, Mr. Narayanan has applied business analysis in Tamil cinema, contributing to blockbuster films like Thanyoruvan, Velaikaran, and Mercil. His innovative approach was recognized by the Times of India in an article titled, in a first of its kind, Tamil director uses business analysis to enhance script. With his vast experience spanning industry, governance, academia, and even cinema, Mr. Narayanan brings a unique perspective on business, innovation, and leadership. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming our chief guest, Mr. Venkadesh Narayanan. I now call upon our CMD and Director, Mr. Bhuminathan Sir, to felicitate our chief guest with a bouquet and a shawl. Please put your hands together. More louder. Thank you, sir. I call Mr. Bhuminathan sir to address the gathering.
Very good afternoon to all the candidates. This is again one of the important session which is going to be conducted by our mentor, honorary director of KingMakers IAS Academy. More than that, is such a dedicated, simple, honest, transparent, very, very nice human being. என்னோட லைஃப்பில் என்னுடைய ஒவ்வொரு சக்ஸஸ்லையும் ஒவ்வொரு ஃபெயிலியர்ஸ்லையும் கூட இருந்து என்னைய ஒவ்வொன்றா செதுக்கின ஒரு கிரேட் பர்சனாலிட்டி அப்படின்னா அது ஒன்று வெங்கடேஷ் நாராயணன். இந்த இன்ஸ்டிடியூட் இன்னைக்கு நம்மெல்லாம் உட்காந்து இன்னைக்கு நம்ம பேசிக்கிட்டு இருக்கோம் அப்படின்றதே அது வந்து பிகாஸ் ஆஃப் வெங்கடேஷ் நாராயணன் சார். நன்றி மறப்பது நன்றல்ல, நன்றல்லது அன்றை மறப்பது நன்று அப்படின்னு சொல்லுவோம். நன்றி வந்து லைஃப்ல மிகப்பெரிய ஒரு விஷயம். அப்படிப்பட்ட பெரிய ஒரு உதவியை வந்து என் லைஃப்ல பர்சனலாகவும் அஃபிஷியலாகவும் பெரிய லெவலில் ஹெல்ப் பண்ண ஒரு பர்சனாலிட்டி வெங்கடேஷ் நாராயணன் சார். நிறைய விஷயங்களை அவர் பார்த்து நான் வியந்திருக்கேன். நீங்கள்லாம் சிவில் ஜேர்னியில் எப்போயாவது டல்லாச்சு அப்படின்னா என்னையை பார்க்க வருவீங்க, இல்லை வேறு யாராவது பார்க்க போவீங்க. யாராவது ஒருத்தர் லைஃப்பில் ஒரு மென்டார் இருப்பாங்க எல்லாருக்குமே வாழ்க்கையில். இப்போ எனக்கு எப்பயாவது நிறைய ஒரு ஆசோலேஷன் எதுலையாவது ஒரு விஷயங்களில் முடிவு எடுக்க முடியாத ஒரு சுச்சுவேஷன் வந்துச்சு அப்படின்னா என் லைஃப்பில் நான் வந்து முதல்ல நான் அப்ரோச் பண்ணுறது 2013 இப்போ வரைக்கும் இந்த 12 ஆண்டுகளில் நான் அப்ரோச் பண்ணுற முதல் பர்சனாலிட்டி அது வந்து வெங்கடேஷ் நாராயணன் சார். ஸோ அவர் இன்னைக்கு நமக்கு ஒரு செஷன் வந்து எடுக்க வந்திருக்குது. we are all really blessed அப்படின்னு தான் நம்ம சொல்லணும். வெரி வெரி என்ன சொல்கிறதுன்னா ஸ்மார்ட் ஒர்க்கர். அவருடைய அந்த ப்ரொஃபஷனலிசம் தான் அவரை வந்து ஒரு யூனிக்கான ஒரு பர்சனாலிட்டியாக எல்லாரும் முன்னாடியும் காமிச்சிருக்கு. நிறைய கம்பெனிஸ்க்கு வந்து எஸ்ஓபிஸ் வந்து டெவலப் பண்ணி கொடுத்துருக்காரு. ஒரு கிரேட் ஒரு விஷனரி அவர் ஆக்சுவலாக வந்து ஒன்லி மணி மட்டும் ஏர்ன் பண்ணணும்னு நினச்சிருந்தாரு அப்படின்னா அவர் வந்து வேற லெவலுக்கு போக முடியும். பட் அவர் லைஃபோட ரியாலிட்டியை பயங்கரமாக ரியலைஸ் பண்ண ஒரு பர்சன். அதனால அவரது வே ஆஃப் லைஃப் விச் ஹீ இஸ் லீடிங் டுடே அது நோபடி கேன் இமேஜின். ஓகே, ஸோ எவ்ரிடே நான் ஏற்கனவே சொன்ன மாதிரி ஒரு காலையில் ஒரு 3 மணிக்கெலாம் எந்திரிச்சு ஹஸ்பண்ட் ஒய்ஃப் 2 பேரும் சமைச்சு டெய்லி சானிட்டரி ஒர்க்கர்ஸ் ஒரு 100-200 பேருக்கு காலையில் பிரேக்ஃபாஸ்ட் தான் கையாலே சர்வீஸ் பண்ணி, ஓகே, இருக்கிற தானத்திலேயே அன்னதானம் தான் மிகப்பெரிய தானம். இருக்கிற சர்வீஸ்லேயே மிகப்பெரிய இந்த மாதிரியான சர்வீஸ் அதை வந்து ரொம்ப ஆத்மார்த்தமா ரொம்ப சந்தோஷமா ஹஸ்பண்ட் ஒய்ஃப் ரொம்ப ஆச்சரியமாகவும் பெருமையாகவும் இருக்கும். இந்த சமுதாயத்தில் பொதுநலத்தை மட்டுமே நோக்கமாக வச்சு மனிதர்கள் இன்னும் நம்ம கூட வாழ்ந்துகிட்டு இருக்கிறதுனால தான் இந்த பூமி வந்து இயங்கிக்கிட்டு இருக்கு, இன்க்ளூடிங் இந்த பூமி. ஓகே, வித் திஸ் few words don't take much of the valuable time of our chief guest. On behalf of you, once again, this is my greatest once again the happiest session in my life which I have organized. So the President of India வந்துட்டு போகிறதுன்றது வேற, ஃபார்மர் பிரசிடென்ட் ஆஃப் இந்தியா. அதை விட ஒரு முக்கியமான நபர்கள் வந்துட்டு போகிறது தான் நம்ம வாழ்க்கையில் உண்மையான விஷயங்கள். எப்படி அப்பா அம்மா எவ்வளோ முக்கியமோ அந்த அளவுக்கு முக்கியம் இந்த நிறுவனம் வந்து உருவாவதற்கு காரணமான ஒரு சில நபர்கள் வந்துட்டு போகிறது. கரெக்டாக இல்லையா? ஓகே, நமக்கு பிடிச்சவங்க, நம்ம நல்லா இருக்கணும்னு ஆசைப்பட்டவங்க, நம்ம எப்படிலாம் இருந்து நம்ம முன்னேற்றத்தை ஒவ்வொரு நிலையிலையும் பார்த்தவங்க அந்த நிறுவனத்துக்கு வர்றதுன்றது ரொம்ப சந்தோஷமான விஷயம். சார்கிட்ட எல்லா அப்டேட்ஸுமே நான் கொடுத்துட்டே தான் இருந்திருக்கேன். இந்த பில்டிங்கை பார்த்தது, பேசினது, உள்ளே வந்தது, டேட்டு எல்லாத்தையுமே சொல்லிட்டு தான் இருந்தேன். பட் அன்ஃபார்ச்சுனேட்லி அவர் வாஸ் லிட்டில் ஆக்குபைடு வித் சம் அதர் ஒர்க். இல்லைன்னா அன்றைக்கி பிரசிடென்ட் ஆஃப் இந்தியா ஃபங்க்ஷனில் சார் அவசியம் வந்திருப்பாங்க. போன பிரசிடென்ட் ஆஃப் இந்தியா 2018 இனாகுரேஷன் நடந்தப்போ என்னுடைய பிளேஸில் சார் தான் அந்த ஸ்டேஜில் வந்து அவங்க தான் உட்காந்துருப்பாங்க. ஸோ அந்த மாதிரியான ஒரு முக்கியமான ஒரு நபர் தான். ஏன்னா இந்த அகாடமிக்கு பின்னாடி நிறைய பிரெயின்ஸ் ஒர்க் பண்ணிக்கிட்டு இருக்கு, உங்களுக்கு தெரியணும். அதுக்கு தான் நான் சொல்லணும்னு ஆசைப்பட்டேன். ஏன்னா he is one of the important brain which is working behind this for about 12 years. 2013 இப்போ வரைக்கும் ஒவ்வொரு நிலைகளையும் என்ன மாதிரியான ஸ்ட்ராட்டஜி அடாப்ட் பண்ணணும், என்ன மாதிரியான ஸ்ட்ரக்சர் வந்து இருக்கணும், குவாலிட்டி கொடுத்தா எவ்வளோ தூரம் நல்லாயிருக்கும், அந்த எஸ்ஓபியை ஃபஸ்ட் டிசைன் பண்ணி கொடுத்தது, இது எல்லாமே வந்து சார் தான். ஸோ ஒரு நல்ல ஒரு கைதட்டலோட சர்வ செஷன் ஆரம்பிச்சுடலாம். தேங்க்யூ ஸோ மச்.
The time has arrived Let's put our hands together to call upon our sunshine of the day to throw light on effective and efficient preparation for UPSC.
Our image, this is image which I saw in 20 வந்து ஆல்மோஸ்ட் அவர் வந்து நான் 20 வரைக்குமே இந்த மாதிரி இமேஜ் தான் பார்த்து நினைக்கிறேன் சார். 20 சார் 20 ப்ரீ-கோவிட் போஸ்ட்-கோவிட் முடிச்சுக்கலாம். ஸோ அந்த மாதிரி நீங்கள் ஆட் பண்ணதுனால அந்த மைக் கொடுத்துருங்க, அது நீங்கள் பேசிட்டு இருக்கீங்க சார்.
Thank you, Mr. Venkadesh, for the opportunity. Good afternoon, everyone. So today we are going to delve in the topic on effective and efficient preparation for UPSC. So I will start with a small slogan. Ananyas Chintayanto Mam Yojana Parvipasate Teshanam Nityabhiyuktanam Yogakshemam Vahamyam. The meaning is very simple. You will find this in all religions. So what it says, you meditate upon me, I will bring you whatever you want. Okay, so meditate upon me means you meditate upon the God and I will bring you everything. Sarvam Sivarpanam. So first let us understand this title of this topic. Effective and efficient preparation. You know these two words, effective and efficient. Efficient means using less resources, achieving more, right? Effective. Effective is using, efficiency. Efficiency means using less resources, achieving more. For example, the 3-star air conditioner and the 5-star air conditioner, What is the difference between these two? The 5-star air conditioner and the 3-star air conditioner, they may be giving the same cooling effect, but the 5-star air conditioner consumes less energy, right? That is the meaning. That is efficiency. Efficiency is using less amount of resources and we achieve more results. It's very important for civil services. And then effective. Effective means doing the right things. I go to 2 doctors and both are giving medicine. Say I am saying headache and I go to 2 different doctors. One is giving me medicine, the headache goes away. The other one is giving the medicine, but nothing happened. It is not effective. That means it doesn't solve the problem. So effectiveness is also very important. The material. So effective and efficient both are important. So let us understand this title, effective and efficient preparation for UPSC examination. And here, we will go through some 20 topics and I will start this with a small story. In my case, I landed in the IRAS service in 2000 because of one question. One question I did correctly, because of that I landed in civil services. If that one question I have not, done well, sorry. If if I have not answered that one question well, maybe I am out of the service. Let me give the context here. When you understand the context, it will be much better. This is 1999, okay, last century, right? So, suddenly government of India, invoked austerity measures. The batch size is, the recruitment size became 300. Nowadays it is 1,200, right? Before that it was 1,200. After that was also 1,200. Somehow only those 2-3 years it became 300, 320. Okay, very tough. In fact, we all were literally terrified. With 1,200 itself is relatively difficult. Okay, now it is 300 means, we were literally scared, and those days we find this number only through the employment news. So, we were preparing to some extent, I would say sincerely. Okay, so, I cleared in first attempt. I was working for Larsen and Toubro. Then when we saw this 300, what I did is immediately I resigned the job. Okay, because for 300, it literally scared everybody. Myself, my friends, we all resigned. And then we started collecting the material, So we passed the prelims. Then we, after prelims only we selected optionals. Those days we had 2 optionals. First I selected, mechanical engineering. Then after that, one of my friend advised, you will be fighting with IITians. So don't break your head against a wall. Okay. So then immediately I changed within a short span. Mechanical engineering, my subject, I thought, it will be easier to prepare. But we selected geography and psychology. And maybe by God's grace, cleared mains also, the same attempt. Now we went for interview. In interview, somebody prepared, you can think of this. Somebody chose the optionals, 2 optionals, just 3 months back, okay, and landed in interview. Okay, what kind of depth I may be having in geography and psychology? You can think of this, right? So somehow I went for interview. In interview, I had one board member, he is an academician, and he was focusing on completely on psychology. And some of the terms I never heard. It's completely new. For a mechanical engineer, psychology, it is, I'm just a 3-month-old baby, right? Okay, in psychology. So whatever he asked, I could not understand. But I honestly said, I literally don't know, what is this topic all about, or what is this concept? Okay. He was asking me, what is happening in other parts of the world in psychology, all those things. I could not answer. Then, somehow I felt, this was going for some 20 minutes. He was giving me all the opportunities. In fact, the board members, in case of interview, the board members make you very much comfortable actually. Anybody has gone for interview, in this batch? Okay. So you can very well assured, you will be like grandchildren for them. They are sitting in their 60s, right? 60s and 60 plus. So you will be like their grandchildren. So they will give you all opportunities to make you comfortable. Nobody, sometimes you read news, in some of the magazines that I was harassed by a board member, that rarely happens. Maybe the person may not be telling their side, okay, what they did, okay. So we will hear a one-side story only. But what I felt is, the board gave me, lot of opportunities. They were making me comfortable. In fact, after 10 minutes, one of the board member was offering me, Venkadesh, have a cup of water, because I was little stammering, okay. So they were, giving me all the opportunities. they are, you know, like literally trying to find which question in psychology I would answer. That was their effort, but you know, like they failed miserably. Okay, and after 20 minutes, you know, like he thoroughly understood, okay, that no more psychology questions will work. Okay, I'm not looking at this side. Okay, so then another member started, you know, he's a retired IAS officer, and coincidentally, my luck, barrage of questions. In fact, now he realized that this guy, you know, like most probably won't answer. Okay, so he was asking his questions very fast. And, you know, there also it's gone almost. Okay, except a few things, you know. He asked, you know, a few river names in Tamil Nadu. He came to that level. So I said, you know, being from Tirunelveli, I said Tamarabarni first, okay, then Kaveri, okay. So then he, you know, like started, you know, like, do you know, like those days the Kaveri issue, even today, okay, the Kaveri issue was, you know, like at very height. Okay, so he started asking, but somehow he said, this may be a very big question for him. Okay, let me spare him. So he stopped actually. Then one other, you know, like Mr. Shri IPS, I think he just at that time retired as a DGP of Tamil Nadu. Okay, he was on the board. He was very patiently looking at me, and he asked me, Venkadesh, what is your hobby? Okay, I said UFO, unidentified flying objects. Okay, it's a very, you know, like very peculiar hobby, right? So it's a real hobby for me, you know, even today I read here and there, you know, like, so now I will explain this hobby part, then you can understand, you know, like what is the kind of, what is the idea behind this interview. Interview is mainly not knowledge testing, you will understand. So first he asked me, you know, like, first, you know, like when they started this question, I thought, you know, they are just trying to understand what is this hobby. You know, that is the way they asked the question. Venkadesh, can you expand UFO? So I said, unidentified flying objects. Then he said, do you think, you know, aliens exist in other parts of the world? Other parts of the universe, you know, not the world, other parts of the universe. So I said, you know, like, there is no conclusive evidence, but, you know, like, maybe. Then he asked me, you know, do you believe that aliens exist in other parts of the universe? I said, I strongly believe. Okay. Then, you know, like there are a series of questions. Then one question came, it was like a fact check. You know, like he was just trying to understand my opinion. Okay. Then Mr. Sripal asked one question. He said, if, you know, like, do you think these aliens are, you know, like having advanced technology? Okay. Do you think, you know, because we are seeing UFO sightings, they are not coming from the solar system, they are coming from, you know, like other planetary systems. You know, like for now we are somewhat, you know, clear or sure that, you know, like other life forms doesn't exist within the solar system other than Earth. So it may be from other solar systems or other galaxies. Okay, it may be from different parts of the universe. So he asked me, you know, like, since we are seeing the UFO sightings, do you think they have, you know, like higher technology or advanced form of technology compared to we human beings? I said, it must be, you know, like they may be having, you know, advanced technology. You know, he was actually pulling, you know, from me, okay, gradually, one by one. And then finally he asked the question, Venkadesh, take your time, give your reasoning. If they were advanced technology, if they hold advanced weapons, why didn't they conquer us so far? I tried to answer, but he said, you know, wait, think and answer. You know, he's from being from Tamil Nadu, he was giving, you know, a lot of leniency towards me. He said, Venkadesh, think, then answer. Then I said, you know, like, I was thinking for, you know, a couple of minutes, 2-3 minutes, complete silence. Everybody was waiting for me. Even one board member was tapping the pencil. You know, like, so far he has never answered anything. Okay. Okay. So now what is he going to do? So then after a moment I told him, we humans protect, animals, right? We protect animals, we love animals, we take care of this. We, have sanctuaries. We have, we say, ecological balance. We are talking about these concepts. If human beings having just, 10,000 years of civilization, if we are thinking at this level, if somebody having millions of years civilization, what would they, do? Will they conquer us, or will they try to protect us? Okay. So then, this answer, he was relatively convinced, and he said, Venkadesh, I really like this answer. And those days, the interview mark is, this is the only one question I answered properly in the entire 45 minutes interview. Okay. And all others are, opinion-based questions, yes or no, something like this. This is the one question. I thought, he will give some 50, 60 marks. Okay. But to my surprise, I got, 180 out of, I think those days it was 240, 180 out of 240. That one question, in fact, the last IAS, in the groupings, the last IAS mark and my mark, if you take, the mark difference is only 20 for 2,400 marks. 20 marks difference between. So if I lose, if they put, 40, 50 marks, out of the race. Because 20 marks, 30 marks make such a difference. Because the seats are just 300. So what I'm coming to say is, now you must have understood the nature of interview. Interview is not about knowledge testing. Rather, it is, how we think through. Because they want to see the soundness of our thinking. Otherwise, they would not have given, for all my wrong answers, options, both the options, wrong questions, wrong answers. Most of them I said no. Okay, I don't know, right? And this is the one question I properly answered. So even today I tell my friends, whenever, my batchmates we meet, this is the one question, that landed me in civil services. In mains, just passed, just eligible to come for interview. Everything is marginal. But this 180, landed me in civil service. So what I'm trying to say is, holistic preparation is important. Never ignore anything. Right? In civil services preparation, you may like some subjects, you may dislike some areas, but never ignore anything. A holistic preparation is important, because which is going to help you, you don't know. And many civil services aspirants I have seen, they choose the hobby at the last moment. Never do that. It will be a very good talking point during your interview. Just for the sake of, talking point, we should not, select some hobby. Hobby means without, what is the definition of hobby? Without any remuneration, if you are interested in doing something, that is hobby, right? If somebody is paying me some good amount for that I'm doing a work, I cannot call it hobby. It is a job, right? But hobby is, I literally like it, it is close to my heart, and I do this whether you, appreciate me or, not, or you pay me or not, I will be still doing that. So that is hobby. So select a proper hobby right away, right? That is the first thing you should do, because hobby cannot be cultivated. The depth what they were asking, this is the very, you cannot find this in a book, right? The question what they asked, it is not from a book. And the other thing what I found in this interview board is, in all interview boards, the thing is today, at the age of 52, whenever we recruit somebody, in 2-3 days I will find out whether this person knows the work or not. Okay, over the years of experience, they are sitting at 60. Bluffing in front of them will not work. Never do that. If we don't know, say don't know. Okay. If it is a guesstimate, give a disclaimer that this is a guesstimate and give them the answer, that is the way. So let us get into the topic, So this I always tell, I was discussing with Mr. Bhuminathan also, this is the one question, that landed me in civil services, okay. So, so this one question is, the worthiness is completely different, right? So now we will go through this 20 topics. You have slide changer? I will do that. Yeah, thanks. So we have, around 20 topics. I will go through them. Some I will go through fast, some I will go through slow. Before getting into this, I will say the two words are very important in, UPSC preparation: current and value addition. The two words are, one word, one phrase: current and value addition. Whatever you, whatever the, papers you write, whether it is general studies or optional or essay, everywhere you should try to link this with the current affairs. Otherwise it will be like, it is, if you simply reproduce the knowledge, it is not, appreciated. And value addition is how your paper is different from the other person. In prelims, we don't need to bother about this. It is an objective type. But in case of mains, how your paper, your writing is different from the other person. What is the value addition you are giving? So, the value addition here means what you are, what is the insight? The person invigilating should feel wow, right? You give a stunning answer, the stunning answer, they will find it, they are going through several essays, several, answers. They will find, this is a very stunning answer. So, for that we have to work, good homework is required. We will find, all those aspects today. So, the first thing is understanding the UPSC exam. The first is the 3 stages of the exam. You know this very well, prelims, mains and interview, okay. And understand the structure of this examination very well. In fact, I would strongly recommend memorize the syllabus. Nobody would have told this so far, memorizing the syllabus. In our organization, we are conducting a course on supply chain, several certifications. And I tell all the participants, we conduct training programs also. And I tell all the participants, first memorize the syllabus. Our brain works really beautifully. Our brain works beautifully. You upload this syllabus, it should be intact, because this is, we will find in another area, UPSC is not a, a stint, a short run. It is not a short run, it is a long run. You should be prepared for marathon, right? So this syllabus, this is our focus, right? The syllabus we have to memorize. When you memorize the syllabus, what happens? It is an exhaustive work. I am not saying you have to do it in the first day one itself. Daily spend some time, browse through the syllabus. Don't do rote memory. Nobody is going to ask you, reproduce the syllabus, right? It is just for, our practice. So memorize the syllabus in the sense, daily spend some time on the syllabus, whether your general studies or optionals. Go through this syllabus, and over a period, in the natural process, it will be memorized, right? For example, you may be, say you are telling a sloka or reading a passage from Bible, over a period of time, it is not, we don't do that in the intention of memorizing it. Rather, by repeating it again and again, it gets memorized, right? So the same way I am asking you to do, daily spend some time on the syllabus, so it is getting memorized. So what it does is, it does a beautiful job inside us. Our brain has 3 levels, right? Conscious, subconscious and unconscious. This will be part of your subconscious, this part of our subconscious. So, whenever you are leaving out some area or whenever you find something in current affairs, immediately it will hook into that area. You get the point? Because, you will understand the syllabus, you are gradually reading the material over a period of time. But in between, you may be going through some of the current affairs topics. It has a relevance with your, syllabus, but you ignore that because you don't know it is part of your syllabus, right? So when you memorize this, what happens? It automatically, alerts you that this is somewhere, I heard somewhere, it is relevant to me. So you will make a note of this. And the other thing is, whichever is weak, whichever topic is weak, it will always, prompt you. It won't allow you to sleep, So it is, we need to memorize the syllabus as a gradual process, not like a, one go. I sit, the entire day dedicated to syllabus memorization. Don't do that. Daily spend some time, that way the syllabus will be memorized over a period of time. And then, it is a generalist exam, right? It is not subject specialist, okay? But don't go like I went to the interview, right? It is even the generalist level I was not qualified because, I resigned the job, in March I resigned and passed the prelims. Then, until that time, because everybody said, whatever you do for mains, unless you pass the prelims, it is of no use. So my full concentration was on prelims. And then, after coming out of prelims, I don't know whether I will pass or not. So until the result, I was waiting. But I was just, browsing different options. Nothing is selected. Then suddenly I select, then the next 3 months only, November we had the exam, October end November, those days. And it was very, short period preparation, focusing on key areas, that is the way. I will tell you, one of my friend who came from Delhi, okay, and, he brought thick, material, Xeroxed material. So the friends are, myself, he gave one copy to me. He said, Venkadesh, don't share with anybody because everybody is your competitor, right? Every other person is your competitor. So he told me, Venkadesh, don't share with anybody, okay? Because we were all part of this, there was institute, government-run institute. Everybody passes, whoever passes prelims, they can be, part of that, okay? They will give some good food, accommodation, and there was a principal who provides books also. It is a very cost-effective preparation those days, okay? So he gave me this material and said, never ever share with anybody, okay? But I said, I have, some close friends. One is Mubarak IFS. He is, he was ambassador for Germany, Indian ambassador sometime back. Now he is the chief passport officer for India, okay? For all the passport, entire operations coming out. Now just, 1 month back we met. And then another friend, he is commissioner for income tax, Mr. Rajan, okay. Then one other friend, unfortunately, Ram, he didn't get through civil services. So I met these 3 guys and said, I got this material. And, we said, we should not share with anybody else. Okay, now I am telling them. Then, immediately, Mubarak is, a very jovial person. He makes a lot of jokes, So what he said, seriously, boss, we use the term boss, okay, those days. It's a older term, okay. Now it is bro, I think, okay. So he said, Venkadesh, why don't we cut this into 4 pieces? Only whenever we meet, we will be able to read this question. So nobody can leak this question. He was just joking, okay. And fortunately, we found, a lot of questions from this book. The only thing is it had 1,200 questions. Okay. Almost it covered the entire psychology. Then only we realized. Then after the exam, we were telling, a few of our friends, coincidentally, everybody is having that copy. Okay. So, secret is, it is the secret term is misused. Okay. So, This is a generalist exam, okay, not a subject specialist. So, we should cultivate interest in, all the areas. We have to cultivate interest, right? In each and every subject, we should cultivate interest. Then, test of clarity, balance, and application. Clarity, right? Application, it should be practical in nature, right? Don't reproduce the theory, okay? It should be practical in nature. So here balance is, what is balance? If there is a question, how you will eliminate poverty, okay? What could be the two extreme views? Huh? Employment opportunity. It is a balanced view actually. Okay, you are already a civil servant. Okay, so it's extreme views. What are the extreme views? Eliminate poor people, right? Eliminating poverty. If I ask eliminating poverty, the extreme views, eliminate poor people. What is the other extreme? Confiscate everybody's asset and redistribute, right? It is nothing but capitalism and communism, right? What I'm saying is right capitalist, right? Recently in US, all the poor people were moved out of New York, right? It's it's an extreme view. And why civil service questions and the exam is testing the balance? Why? You are all going to be decision makers, right? When you will take a good decision, when you know the consequences of both the sides, right? When you know the consequences of both the sides. So a balanced view is you understand both the sides and you will take a level playing field. In fact, Buddha said the middle path is best. Extreme views are not good in any area, right? In any field. Extreme views are not good. It may have tremendous transformation, but there will be a lot of people suffering in that. So we have adopted a socialist republic country, right? Democratic country. In a democratic country, we cannot have extreme views. Rather, what is the balanced view here? Create more employment opportunities, higher tax for richer people, redistribute the wealth in that way. This is a milder manner, and in a balanced view, things will not change overnight. In extreme views, things will change overnight, but there will be a lot of sufferings, right? Lot of bloodshed may happen, right, in extreme views. But here, the balanced view means, it changes drastically, a transformation. Democracy wants a transformation, not overnight changes. So that is one of the reasons, you need to understand why balanced view. Everywhere, whether it is prelims question, mains answers, or interview questions, especially interview questions, you have to always present balanced view. You have to, think about both the sides. You have to present both the sides, and you can take one side, but after doing this due diligence, right? Rather than simply jumping into conclusion is not, not a very good answer. Okay, it may be right, but not a very good answer. You have to present both the sides. Then weightage of GS optional and essay. There is a law called the law of diminishing results. You have to understand this very well. The law of diminishing results. Okay. If you keep this like a graph, this goes like this. I'm saying y-axis, x-axis, this goes like this. The curve goes like this. What does it mean? The law of diminishing results. Somebody scores 40 marks. You give him 1 day training. Okay. He will get, 60. Okay. 40 to 60, some effort is required. Is the same effort is enough to move somebody from 80 to 100? So, don't put too much effort on one paper and lose focus on others.
Because everywhere there are low hanging fruits. Low hanging fruits means you can get it easily, right? Like in one paper you are trying to master everything, okay? You are spending more time on that. The same 300 marks, okay? Like 150, like most decent writing will get. 160, 170, 180, 250 is reasonable. Very difficult. Maybe in mathematics somebody will get, right? So, like the law of diminishing results, it is there everywhere. The 40 to 60 one can move easily with some effort. The same effort will not take somebody scoring 80 to 100. So higher you go, the results will, for the same effort, the results will come down. So you need to put almost the same amount of effort across all the subjects. So that is the reason you need to, like weightage of GS, optional and essay. Dynamic versus static portions. Like I'm going a little slow, okay, I will make it faster, okay. Otherwise, we'll be sitting and discussing. Dynamic and static portions. Dynamic and static portion is divide the syllabus into two parts in optional, other things. What is static? It comes again and again. Nothing changes. That is called static. Dynamic is evolving subject. You have to, in fact, UPSC focuses on dynamic topics more because they can be better tested. Otherwise, the same person will be passing every year. They don't like static topics. In fact, like in 1998, we were, collecting the last 10-year papers. So myself and my friends, we were discussing, if this is the paper, we will crack easily. You will tell our papers now. Okay, like it is constantly evolving. Those questions looks very simple, but like it had its own difficulty. So the UPSC likes the dynamic topic that is constantly changing, evolving, because that is the way you can be better tested, right? Then syllabus plus previous year questions are the compass. It helps us to it guides us, previous year questions and syllabus. As I said, memorize this syllabus as a gradual manner. Then the last one is importance of holistic preparation. Like in optional syllabus, if you find various topics, don't prepare these topics as a individual headings. Rather, try to see the whole subject as something one and the whole, right? You have to see in a holistic manner. Holistic manner means because in UPSC, because of the limitation of number of questions, they have to test you, to a great extent. So what they will do is take 2-3 topics, and they will come with a question covering all these topics, right? So when you prepare in a a topic wise, and if these topics stand alone in your head like individual boxes, if all these topics are individual boxes, it will not be very helpful to write the examination. Rather, all these topics should interact. It should interact in your head so that you can write a better answer. So now again, importance of syllabus and the previous year questions. UPSC syllabus is the preparation boundary. Like normally we say, Civil Services Examination has everything under the sun. Not very true, okay, but to a great extent. It's somewhere in the middle, okay. So, we need to have a clear boundary. The syllabus helps us to achieve this, clear boundary. Then previous year questions reveal the trends and the question framing. How, especially the keywords. For example, when you are looking at the previous year questions, what I have seen with some of the participants, I taught geography sometime, long back, right? Maybe 5-6 years back, geography optionals. When we were discussing, the keywords in the questions are very important. Describe, elucidate. 2 terms, right? These are all called, command words. Describe. Then another question has elucidate. What is the difference between this? We all understand, both these words are same, one and the same. But describe says, just present as it is. Describe something, it is, like present as it is. What are all the components, the merits, the demerits, that's it, enough. Elucidate means you help me understand, right? Elucidate, the word elucidate, okay, it goes beyond description, it is more than describing something, right? Describe is present as it is. How is it? That's it. But elucidate means help me understand this. So what you have to do, you have to give more examples. If there are anecdotes available, you can present this, some small stories, right? Anecdotes. Or, you can give some case studies, especially in ethics paper, case studies are involved. So you can present some cases. So that is elucidate. Elucidate means, like this you have to find, go through the last 10-year papers, take all these keywords and find the real meaning, right? Find the real meaning. And you have to, keep these words, clearly in mind. I'm just giving you an example of description, describe and elucidate, right? But, there are more words available. Please go through that. Then help prioritize important areas. Syllabus helps us, find the right areas. Then prevents over-reading irrelevant content. When you have a boundary, here we need to understand one thing. We call it as divergent thinking, convergent thinking, right? Divergent thinking and convergent thinking. Divergent thinking is you have to collect more and more material, right? But at some point you have to stop. We had one friend, he was having bike those days. And after having breakfast, we had some people, today you are very fortunate, you meet several officers, several speakers every other day, right? It is like a constant thing for you. Those days it is very difficult for us. Myself and Mr. Rajan, we want to see somebody who passed prelims. Okay, so we went to a village called Numbal. A lot of people who are preparing, nearby only. Lot of people preparing for civils, they are, they are staying there. So we got appointment with one of the person and he passed prelims. So he told me, mains is coming. So, I will give you 15 minutes, whatever the questions you ask and get away. Okay, 15 minutes appointment. So we asked the questions, as usual questions, will I pass? Okay, that is the first question. Okay, I'm a backbencher, okay, in the college, will I pass? My score is not so good. Okay, so all these basic questions only. So then, we moved. And one of my other friend, what he does is, every day after finishing breakfast, he will start at 10 a.m. in his bike. He will go for material collection. Okay, this is his, religious job he was doing every other day. Okay, we should not do it forever. Okay, we have to stop this somewhere. Many people do this. You need not have to worry about this material collection these days, right? Everything is, well packaged and delivered to you. Focus on that. So, in the quest for material collection, what happens is, every other person, the peer pressure is another one. If somebody has a new book, then we are scared. Okay, we have to, limit ourselves with this material, and reading one book 10 times is advisable, and 10 books each one time is not useful, right? So, clearly mark it. Institute provides all those insights, right? Just to follow that. We have to, because we are not asked any, UPSC will not ask a question which is available in any book. The answer may be available, the question may not be available, right? And those answers also not verbatim. You cannot cut and paste, right? Or copy and paste. It is not, directly you can reproduce somewhere. So the fundamental understanding, it asks for the fundamental understanding of anything and everything you read. Okay, clarity, have you understood, right? So that is the minimum expectation. So focus in the classes itself is 50% done, I would say. Focusing in the classes and listening to the lectures carefully, that itself solves 50%. You score 50% easily. The other part, we have to, work hard on our side, retention of those, contents. Then, builds answer orientation, it gives the guidance, enables reverse engineering of study plan. Whatever this, advices I'm giving, don't think I have applied all these things. Okay. This is, lessons from the failures, right? I have not done all these things, so I am telling you, okay. So, enables reverse engineering of, going through the syllabus and previous year questions. What you will find is, you will get a knack of, what UPSC is thinking. Going through the question keywords, it gives, this is called reverse engineering. Reverse engineering, right? I take this television, rip it apart, not breaking, unscrewing and removing it, okay? And then, making drawings for this or how to develop this, that is reverse engineering, right? So the same way, the questions are the window to UPSC. The questions are the windows to the UPSC's mind. You need to understand that. Think through that. Why? What is there? What is the change? Every year they do some changes. Try to understand that. That is the only window. How you can. UPSC gives the syllabus. Okay, but they never tell. You read this book, and this topic is important. No such guidance, right? All those guidance we get from the institute. Okay. In addition to that, you also do, analyze the questions. You will be doing a lot of question analysis, right? Then finally, the smart filtering of resources. Based on the syllabus, you have to, limit your material and master them, Then the next one, choosing the right resources. All these things, very well, right? NCERT, conceptual clarity. NCERT is for conceptual clarity. In fact, I would recommend read the NCERT's 6 to, +2 or 10 bus?
Given the list.
Huh? Given the list, okay. So, all these books, prepare 4 or 5 times. That should be the first focus. Very clear. And here you can use, you have a lot of tools available, but you have to use cautiously. Artificial intelligence, meditating, okay. Artificial intelligence, okay. So, ChatGPT. What you can do is, in NCERT, how to master this, using AI for our advantage. Take one chapter of, it is available as PDF. NCERT is available as PDF. Take one chapter. Upload this into ChatGPT. Then ask ChatGPT, give you a prompt. They call it as prompt engineering, right, these days. So give you a prompt, generate 100 multiple choice questions with 4 options, give the correct answer and the explanation for the correct answer. You give this prompt. And generate this in an interactive manner. So it will keep on asking the questions, you give the answer. It is like you are chatting with somebody. Maybe if you are, few friends available, sit together and do this. It will be like a game, okay. It will be like a game. Even in a classroom setup, we can do. So, this way you can master the NCERT book. We always want a validation, right? Do I know everything in this? So, because in NCERT, you cannot afford to miss any keywords or any facts. You cannot afford to miss. So, it is it is a very good treasure. Even those days or today, NCERT is a very good reference. Then the other, you can do this for almost all the papers, especially, in fact, I would tell in case of your optional syllabus, okay, in syllabus you have lot of phrases, right? A phrase is given, then semicolon, another topic, you have different topics. Put a topic and ask the top 10 keywords for this topic. Top 10 keywords for this topic. Make a note of it. You have to do this homework, right? And the keywords are very important when you write mains paper. Okay, even it may be helpful in your prelims, but this is a very relatively big exercise, right? So you have to do this, for each of the topics. Ask for the keywords in ChatGPT or Copilot, okay, or Gemini, okay, any of this, all these tools are good. ChatGPT, I find it, relatively better. They kind of they have most of the materials in the world, it seems. Okay, so ask for 10 keywords for each of the topic, and these keywords you should try to use in your answer. Because the faculties, when they are invigilating, when they are correcting your papers, written papers, they kind of they don't read word by word. Rather, they have the ability, over a period of time, they get this talent. Okay, they scan it. They look for the right words. How fast you convey to the invigilator that you know this subject, that much good mark you will get. How fast? Immediately you should, they see the answers, immediately you are conveying to them. So that is the reason we need to underline the keywords, facts, case studies, all those things we need to underline and make, this like a salesperson, right? I have to present it to them. This is a salesperson. When you are writing the answer, you should have the mind of a salesperson. How easily I will convince him, right? How fast I will convince him, right? So you have to use those keywords. Then standard reference books, Yojana, I think you will have a better list. Okay, this is like this is a 20-year back list. Okay, then reliable current affairs source. Then avoid multiple materials for same subject. Again, this is the biggest problem actually. We try to read several books for the same subject. That is one of the reason. People get overburdened. We create more work for us. Then prepare micro notes for revision, small notes. Even note taking is a skill. Sometimes, I have seen some of our friends, I never did the note taking. I will underline in the book itself. Sometimes, during my preparation, I open a book for revision. I ask the question, who underlined this? Okay. Did it happen to anybody? Okay. Maybe I'm the one guy. Okay, after some time I opened the book and it is my handwriting, everything fine, but who did this? Okay, because there is no revision. This is called knowledge binging. We want to read more and more, but we don't revise. That is another problem. It is knowledge binging, right? Now, binging means, right? Food binging, right? But we don't have time for digestion. Okay, so knowledge binging should be avoided. It's a kind of reading different book. Today somebody shows another book, I will start reading. And most of the time what happens is we are diverted. We are reading one thing, diverted, you go to another. You don't have, you don't have a plan and you don't stick to that plan. Or you may have a plan, but your plan is constantly changing. So have a plan, go in that direction, right? Then, stick to minimum sources, maximum revision. This is what I said, minimum sources, handful of sources. In fact, you need to maintain a small notebook, Writing practice is very important, right? Have this practice on a daily basis. Because that is the way we have to appear for the main exam. So writing practice, many students, many of my friends or even students complain that these are continuous exams, right? They don't have this writing habit. So they feel fatigue in the exam. Okay, it is you need to practice that. When it is a practice, it's not a problem. Then time management and daily routine. Like here, Pomodoro, this is a technique actually. Like I will focus on this technique. We humans or any living things, we have a cycle, right? We have a cycle. And, the biological clock, technically speaking, biological clock. And we have a rhythm, okay? If this rhythm constantly changes, okay, it is not a efficient preparation. If this, you have to put a lot of efforts. If the rhythm is constantly changing, you have to put a lot of effort. I would say I'm one of the laziest person, actually, okay. Until I was in civil services, I traveled from Madipakam to Central Railway Station, the headquarters. I was posted there. And at least I have to start at 6 or 7 a.m. Okay. I go to the office. From Madipakam to this one, it will take 1.5 hours those days. But after that, when I started our own business, normally I wake up at 8. Sometime it is 9. Because, I spend a lot of time, researching something, what can be done in the business, what is the material can be developed for training. Like this, I will spend some, late hours, maybe up to 12, but the next day I will wake up at 8, but even then I will not be fresh. It will be relatively dull, and sometime if I stayed awake until 2 a.m., then the next day is completely gone. I may be mechanically doing something, So, but what happened when I, adopted this practice, now, sharply at 3 a.m., I'll get up and there is a routine, almost it is non-stop until, some 10:30 until we distribute the food. So this becomes a routine. Then 11 only I will sit for my office work and I work up to 6 over. Okay. So now, this routine, now more than 3 I cannot sleep. Okay. So what I'm telling you is develop a rhythm, whatever works for you. In fact, when you get up early in the morning, I'm not saying 3, 5 would be a good time. Okay. 5 would be a reasonable time. You don't lose much of your sleep. Okay. Youngsters has to sleep, 6 to 8 hours. Okay. Up to 8 hours is reasonably okay. Okay. So, develop your own cycle. 5 to, you start. But what you have to do is, many people just wake up at 5. They keep the book in front of them, get into meditation. Right? Right? So, that is not a good practice. Wake up at 5, pray God. Sitting in the bed itself, you can pray. And then, get ready, take bath. After that, you will not, after that, you will not sleep. This may take half an hour, 45 minutes. Okay. After that, sit for reading. That will be effective. But this will, for many, immediately after getting up, taking bath is a very difficult thing. Right? In fact, this is as if we were affected by rabies. Right? We were scared of water. Right? But, if it is hot water, it is better. Little bit encouragement will be there. Okay. So, after getting up, immediately you should jump out of the bed. The bed will try to convince you, okay, take 10 minutes more nap, okay, and they have this snooze function, right? So what I do is, in the initial days, when I get into this practice, I keep my mobile far away. At least I have to walk that much distance. Now they have invented another alarm clock. It will literally run away in the room. Have you heard of this? Have you heard of this? This is a new invention. It's literally costly. Okay. The alarm clock, it will, ring at 5 a.m. You cannot snooze because it is running away inside the room. Okay, it glows light, and I just saw the video. Okay, so it runs away within the room, so that with that little bit of exercise, the sleep will go, right? So develop this habit. This rhythm is very important. So this Pomodoro focus, what it says is, develop a rhythm, read for 25 minutes. Okay, this rhythm, this is given by one Francisco. Just to Google for this technique in detail. If I start discussing that, it will go for another half an hour. So go through, Google. Francisco gave this technique, Italian, he gave this technique. Prepare for 25 minutes in an intense manner. Give 5 to 10 minutes rest. Repeat this, 4 cycles. This is also called time boxing. Time boxing, that means, a well-defined time. And then give you a long rest, maybe half an hour. Okay. We can have, breakfast or dinner, something like that. And, make a rhythm for this. When you make a rhythm, in fact, we have to sit in a proper place. Okay. Studying and, sitting and studying in a proper place is important. Many people spend on the, lying down on the bed, or, some people, walk and read. Walking and reading is also fine, but lying down in bed and reading is not a very advisable thing. As I said, we will soon get into meditation. Okay. So, we need to, spend, a fixed place for reading, and the time, there should be a schedule available. And, divide day into study blocks, as I said, balance static subjects and current affairs, allocate time for answer writing, practice your, whatever you read, do a writing practice, weekly test practice, those things are, taken care by default here, right? So then include rest breaks. Discipline is greater than long hours. Here discipline, when I say discipline, adhering to this timings, okay, and, cutting out this, keeping the mobile every other minute, checking what is the message in WhatsApp, all these tools are wonderful. Actually, the things were changed. In 1998, when we were preparing for this, we were literally searching for the material. Okay, it was very difficult to get the material, and today you have a lot of material because of this. Thanks to the technology. But on the other side, we are using in a counterproductive manner. The social media, WhatsApp, all these things. So, the discipline is greater than longer hours. Spend effective time for, preparation. Then note-making strategies. Keep them short and crisp. I have seen some of the students' notes in the past, and, they make another book. Have you heard of this? They write another book. Okay. Author name is different, but content is same. That should not be the note-taking practice. The note-taking practice is only you will understand, not anybody else. Right? All those keywords. The test of note writing is, you go through those keywords, okay. You go through those keywords, you should be able to recall the entire essay, right? Or the entire topic, you should be able to recall. So that is the best way to, very short. In fact, some people use flashcards, right? That is, try to, whatever works for you, try to make it innovative and enjoying, right? The preparation should be an enjoyable journey, because, this is, one cycle itself 1.5 years, right? Right from, prelims preparation start, I'm saying, until the results out, it's a 1.5 year cycle. So it is, we need to maintain this, maintain the tempo during this journey. So, make it as much as interesting as possible, writing with color pens, whatever works for you, you have to decide. Then focus on keywords, flowcharts and diagrams. Then, organize topic wise, digital versus handwritten, I would recommend, have a good laptop, or a tablet, and take notes and store it in cloud. Like at the time of examination, nothing should happen to this laptop or tablet. So store it in cloud, the Google Cloud or any other cloud. You store it in that, so that if something happens to that system, you can recover from elsewhere. You can recover from any other system. So use this. It is a digital note taking is much better these days compared to handwritten. But for your answer writing, don't do that, because anyway physically you have to write in the examination. Then use color coding for quick recall. When you review this past question papers, what you have to do is, some of the topics have, this tally marking, right? In statistics, 1, 2, 3, 4, then 5 is cross, right? So like this, you have to, for each of the topics, how frequently it has been asked, right? Anything touches the topic, you put a mark, right? 1 tally mark. And like this, you do a analysis for your question. So, you will have most important topics most frequently. Somehow, UPSC or the respective faculty have a, liking for the topic, So, we cannot deny that, So, it may be coming again and again, appearing again and again, year after year. Then constantly update with the new info. Okay, your notes should not be a static one. You get some other information, there is a current, so, note taking, when you are doing on a notebook, these days we have this 5 subject notebook, right? Write on 1 page, leave the back page blank, because you will constantly add on new information. Don't worry about, some pages wasted, but you will keep on adding additional points, because it is not static. Over your preparation period, it is evolving, every day it evolves. You find a new information in the newspaper, or some other concept you learned, from the classroom, or from your colleague. Then constantly update. Notes are for revision, not rewriting books, right? As we discussed, it is for revision. A good notes will spare you going through the topic once again. When we tell multiple revisions, in fact, there is a theory related to revision in psychology. This one thing I recall from my whatever I read in psychology. Okay, what they tell is, when I prepare something today, okay, I have prepared today, I read this material, understood this material, the retention is 90% for, for few hours for the first time. Then it gradually fades by 3rd or 4th day. Okay, this is called application of psychology, the second paper. It gradually fades by 4th or 5th day, the retention is only 20%. So whatever we prepare, the next day itself we need to revise. And another thing is, at the beginning of your preparation, you may be having 100% new topics reading, but very close to the examination, that is maybe the last 1 month of that examination, 80% time devoted to revision, 20% only new things. The 80-20 formula we say, right? So, until the last day, the day before, if I am reading some new topics, okay, somewhere I am lacking. The last 1 month, your complete focus should be on revision rather than acquiring new material. So, whatever we have, studied, it should be revised well. Then, follow 3-4 revision cycles rule. Whatever you studied today, this is efficient way of doing, efficient preparation. Whatever you read today, spend some time, at least, give a fast revision the next day itself, so that the retention will be very good. When you do this, multiple times, after that, you can give 3 days, after that you can, they call it as, 1-3-5 rule, 1-3-5 rule for revision. So today you have prepared something, first time, new material. The second day itself you have to revise. This discipline lacks in many students. We always, fascinated with reading new material, right? Because it gives satisfaction to us. Revision is, this already I know, but only for yesterday, okay? So the 1-3-5 rule is, the next day itself you revise, then give 2 days or 3 days, then revise, then 5 days revise. This will be forever in your mind. This you will, if somebody is taken psychology, you will study this in application of psychology. Okay. So, you have to, do this revision practice. Revision is very important. We always, we are overloaded with a lot of material, that is fine. But without revision, all these efforts would be waste. Correct? Then, revise before starting new topics. Use mind maps. Mind maps, there is a tool called iMind. There are several tools available. Mind maps. These mind maps, for example, lot of points, especially, I did this, during those days, we draw on, A3 sheets, everything is available. For example, about a country, in geography, maps are important, right? So we have to write small notes also for that place. So all those things, you can keep in in a concise manner. In all the subjects, you can use this. Then, active recall, passive reading. Passive reading is, it is just, book is seeing me, I am seeing the book. Okay, right? So, the active recall is, we need to, revise, close the book, try to recall within yourself. That is active recall. Okay. Then self-quizzing daily. Test yourself. ChatGPT is a very good tool. In fact, in fact, you can write you can type a question, write a answer, and ask ChatGPT, do you find any, deficiency in this answer? You can ask this. It will give, don't take ChatGPT as, the ultimate authority. You have to use it consciously, right? You have to test it. Some subjects, in fact, ChatGPT is very weak in mathematics, right? Have you found that? It does any math problems, you will find a lot of errors. But anything related to factual, theoretical, those things, it does a good job. Okay. Consolidate notes regularly. Your notes should be live. It is not like, I wrote the notes and I don't know where it is. Right? It happens, right? And sometimes what happens is, every day we bring one piece of paper to the class, take notes, thinking that I will file in a structured manner. That file doesn't exist, right? So, these are all the mistakes we did, okay? Why I'm telling authentically means I did, okay? So, we have to bring this practice. Discipline is very important. When we have the discipline, we will, achieve this with less efforts. Why to, work hard, right? Smart work is more important, right? Smart work is the, right approach. Then final 2 months, 80% revision, 20% new. Final 2 months or even 1 month, most of the time should be devoted to revision. Very less time you will, anyway, current affairs will be keep on happening, even, institute will give you advice that this is the cutoff date. After that, newspaper, just to go through that, not very important because, question is already set, right? We get those insights, right? Current affairs integration, read one newspaper daily, that should be done. The most preferred, currently, which one? Boss? Hindu, okay. So, never changed, okay. So, Hindu is the, one recommended newspaper. Then supplementary monthly magazine, short daily notes, current to static portions. Here it is, this one is important. Whether you do geography, psychology, or any others, or essays, you have to, whenever you read some current, affairs, try to link with your subject, respective subjects. It should be like a practice. you can make a note, short notes there, because UPSC is fascinated with current events. Whether it is geography or psychology, they will ask the current events, right? Most of your questions are like this these days. There is no verbatim questions except short questions. There is no verbatim or memory based questions. Most of them are analytical questions. Then revise monthly compilations, once in a month revise it. Then practice answer writing with the current affairs examples. We have to, that is the reason UPSC tries to do the static topic into a dynamic one. What is static? What is static means it never changes. Dynamic means it is constantly evolving. But here what they do is they try to convert this static into a dynamic with the current affairs. So that this year answer for the same question, this year answer will be different from the previous year, though it is a static topic, because they involve current affairs. Then prelims preparation strategy, this strong base. I have some notes, okay. Prelims preparation strategy, NCERT 5 times, non-negotiable, correct? 5 times preparation, and using this ChatGPT, test yourself, make it thorough, so that you are very thorough for the prelims part. Then master static subjects first. Static subjects, the routine things. Daily MCQ practice, learn elimination techniques. This is very important. In one of the question, one of the certification exam, we do a lot of certification exams. These are all for senior professionals. They are in the age group of 40, 45, they are working as managers, VPs in companies. So one of the person, he recently joined the course. And then he said, I appeared for this exam. I am in supply chain for the last 20 years. And, I appeared for this exam, but I failed. One of the supply chain exam conducted by a US organization, US body. And he failed in this exam. He said, I have 25 years experience. And he said, I got a very poor score. He said, I found in this exam, all the 4 answers are correct. He has to choose, it's a MCQ. Only, they always, tell, select the most appropriate answer. Select the most appropriate answer. And he said, it seems all the 4 answers are correct. In fact, the prelims is, evolved to this stage. And, for an unprepared mind, all the 4 answers, would be right. For somebody who was well prepared, you can eliminate 2. The other 2 will, literally, you will struggle between these 2. And even then, we have to apply something, and then we will eliminate the other one. So, in prelims, your answers, you are not selecting the answers, rather you are eliminating the wrong answers. You are not selecting the right answer most of the time. So never jump into a conclusion and say, immediately, okay, this is the right answer. The other competitive exams, I won't say other competitive exam, the college level exams, you will find we can jump into the answer, right? After reading the question, which one of the following is an animal? Lion is there, then peacock, then crow is there, then pigeon, then we will immediately jump, say, lion is the animal, The answers will jump out in some of these examinations. But this is not such an examination, right? Here you will find, almost everything is similar. So we need to learn this elimination technique. Start this from the right beginning. Right from the beginning, you should approach this. Our way of answering. Then high weightage areas, revise factual content multiple times. Any answer for that UPSC thing, whether it is mains or mains general studies paper or essay, it should be a judicious mix of fact and content. Simply I am talking about a concept in a detailed manner, okay, without any facts, or lot of facts are presented, or overburdened with facts. Both are not a good idea. It should be a judicious mix. You can say 50-50, right? and then take mock test in exam conditions. Here this is like we have this exam anxiety, right? Exam anxiety. In fact, when I went for the interview, immediately I saw some 5 people sitting in the age group of 60 plus. Okay, immediately the thought came to my mind, gone. Okay, they are by seeing them itself, it's the anxiety. So even the known answers will make it wrong in anxiety. There is a in anxiety also there is a psychological phenomenon. You have to be moderately anxious. The anxiety has to be moderate. They kind of in psychology there is a area application, sports psychology. In sports psychology what they have found is a moderately anxious or moderately stressful person does well in a particular sport compared to somebody very highly anxious, somebody is very cool. Okay, again middle path, right? You have to be moderately anxious. Anyway it will come, don't worry. That moderate anxious will come. What I am telling is, don't be overly anxious. How to control this? There is a technique called visualization technique. Visualization technique is, whenever there is a mock exam conducted, think it is the real exam. This is my first attempt, right? Like this, try to visualize. Visualization is a very powerful technique, but you have to do it seriously. Okay, visualize that this is the exam. I'm sitting in the exam hall. What is the kind of question I'm going to face? Visualize. Don't think this is a mock exam and coming with less seriousness. Seriousness means I'm saying in our mindset. Okay, so be more serious and take those tests. So simulate this exam condition, exam environment, right? So when you do this again and again, in fact, those days, after my interview, only one friend said, when he went for a training for interview, they taught him this technique, visualize this interview, attend the mock interviews. Here we are conducting a lot of mock interviews, for the personal test, right? Personality test. So, go through this, take all those, so try to appear for more and more tests. Whatever the number of tests conducted here, take it religiously. That is the only way you can remove your anxiety on the examination part. Because highly anxious, high level of anxiety or high level of stress deteriorate your performance, right? Some level of anxiety will peak your performance. The curve goes like this, Some level of anxiety, your performance will peak, and more anxiety, it will, the curve will drop drastically. So the only way to counter this is visualization and get into the test practice itself. Then mains preparation strategy. Understand the question demand. Understanding the question is very important. In fact, the keywords, what I said, we did the example of, elucidate and describe. These keywords you should, this may be unique for each optionals. I don't know, really. These keywords may be unique for each optionals. So you have to study don't borrow your friend's keywords. Okay. He or she may be doing another option, right? So study your option and extract these keywords. There may be maximum 50 keywords I'm saying, and for this 50 keywords, generate give me the real meaning of for this keyword in 50 words. This is the prompt. Ask for ChatGPT. This will give you an essay. Make it in a Word document and print it and keep it with you. Once in a while, go through this, especially before the exam, because we need to understand the real meaning of what is described, what is elucidate, what is briefly, right? We need to explain. Different command words are used. These are all called command words, right? And then write answers daily for mains. Daily practice is important because one is the speed of writing. Another one is, the stamina, right? We need to develop the stamina by writing it again and again. Otherwise, on the day of exam, your mind works fast, but your hand doesn't cooperate, right? We should not face many of my friends faced this. He knows very well, but he could not finish the answers, right? At the same time, we have to maintain our handwriting also, right? Good handwriting, a decent handwriting is important for the examination. And developing the language is also important. Most of you may be appearing in English or in your, vernacular medium, maybe. But in whichever the language, develop the respective language. I'm writing geography in Tamil, but everywhere I wrote English words. Okay, not very much acceptable. Here and there we can use, but if everything is English after opting for, the person who is invigilating, he may not know the meaning of this. Certainly it will come to Tamil Nadu, right? Or any other part of, university where they have the, a setup. So we need to focus on the language. For example, especially for English, most of you may be writing in English, right? We need to develop our, vocabulary and the language skills. And here, one tool available online is eslpod.com, eslpod.com. This is there from 2000 onwards, This is there from 2000 onwards, okay. Then, use a simple, clear language. Then structure your, answers with intro, body, conclusion. How much time is there? 15 minutes? 30 minutes, okay. So structure, intro, body, conclusion, examples, data, case studies, then practice time-bound writing. When we are practicing at home, we should not take the liberty of writing the answer for 2 hours, right? That will not give a real practice. Then mock test feedback. Essay paper approach. Read essays of toppers. It's a guidepost, right? What could be a good essay? Then understand both abstract and issue-based topics. Brainstorm before writing. Here in the brainstorm before writing the topic, there is a process called stage gate process. Stage gate process is, first you may have several options. And first you have to select a essay out of this, which you are going to present well. Okay. And when you are selecting this, you have to think through the end of this. The entire essay you have to think, right? After writing half the way, I should not find, how should I conclude this? I am lacking points. I am lacking facts. We should not face this. Essay is one of the most important paper, and I would say most ignored paper as well, right? In my days, that is the thing. Everybody thinks we are Shakespeare's. Okay, I'm saying, Shakespeare's, and we will write a very good English. And essays, it is easy to score in essay, but it is ignored. 10 marks, 20 marks coming out of essay will make like my one question got me into the service, right? The 10-20 marks is most valuable. So we have to practice this essay. Select, then structure the design. So the first maybe 30 minutes or whatever the time, proportionately, you have to design how you have to think through, or take the last page, make some notes, and how you are going to present it. It should be designed like a movie maker. You have to think like a director, right? This is the way I'm going to present it. Then structure with flow and coherence, very well articulated. Then use quotes. In case of quotes, anecdotes and examples, most of the environment will be one of the topic, right? Then some of the social issues could be another topic. So for each of these topics, collect one your own repository of quotes and anecdotes, your own repository. You know, like these quotes, anecdotes, everything is available online. You know, like popular people, you know, like writing something and say, this is Venkadesh Narayanan. The invigilator doesn't know who is this guy, right? You know, you should be a popular person. You know, you have to, you know, like identify these people who are identified with this topic, right? Who are known for the topic, you know, like for Ahimsa, Mahatma Gandhi, you know. So like this, you have to, you know, identify some 50 quotes, keep it in mind. You know, quotes here and there, you write in your own words. Anyway, the invigilator may not know the entire quote, right? But the content is important, right? So use quotes, anecdotes, then maintain balanced perspective, like what we said, you know. You have to, you know, like there is one, you know, like this Pattimandram. Everybody knows Tamil? Huh? So in Pattimandram, you know, one popular Solomon Papaya, right? Whenever he gives a decision, he will never come to the, you know, conclusion. He will say, this team is doing really well. So we will be thinking that he is going to award to them. Okay, they are going to be the winner. Then he will come here, he will praise them. He will be doing alternatively, and, you know, like we will be keep on waiting. But whatever he says, it makes sense, right? That is the right approach. Okay, you know, like you have to present both the sides, and gradually you have to convince, you have to take the, you know, your invigilator to a particular conclusion, or you can leave it, you know, you can leave the question to the world, right? You know, like only time can tell this, you know, some of these things, you know, only time can tell this. You know, like the knowledge present today is not enough to conclude, you know, there are situations. Then practice one essay every fortnight. You know, every fortnight, 15 days, every fortnight practice at least one essay. This is a minimum. Then ethics paper, you know, study thinkers and their relevant, learn key terms. You know, the terms are very important. Then simple language, practical solution. You know, we need not have to use pompous language. Pompous language is, you know, recently I got a message in WhatsApp, and he said, this guy was thoroughly thoroughed. Have you heard of this? Huh? Thoroughed. You know, that means he just now read Mr. Shashi Tharoor's, you know, writing. Okay, he was like terrorized, you know. Now they use the word, you know, this on the lighter side, you know, he's a very good orator and writer. Okay, his language is so nice. Okay, you know, like even a very good English speaker should keep a dictionary alongside, right? Otherwise they cannot understand. He is such a fluent person, right? So, you know, that is called pompous language. Pompous language means very, you know, like unique words, not in the real practice. He will say, you know, like this was in practice in 1780s. You know, sometimes when people ask him, he says, you know, some 200 years back, this is the word very popular during those days. And he will find it from, you know, poems and other things. He's having such a, you know, like interest for this. But, you know, like our idea is, whatever you write, the invigilator should be able to understand. So language should be simple enough, okay, but using the right words. You know, using the right words is important. Then, you know, like show ethical administrative balance. Administrative balance we discussed, right? The, you know, collect real life examples, case study practice regularly, flow charts for clarity. You know, you can, you know, the flow charts, right? Then optional subject selection. The optional subject selection, you know, like it should be choose based on interest, not popularity. You know, many people go after this popularity. You know, like, but, you know, like popularity is important, but more than that, your interest, because we have to sustain the interest for longer time. You know, for somebody, this marathon will end in 1.5 years. For somebody, it will take 3-4 years. Okay, we should be mentally prepared, right? It is such a competitive exam, no doubt, right? And one thing I want to tell here, you know, I have never seen somebody seriously prepared for civil services, okay, failed in their career, okay, you know, do you understand? You know, somebody seriously prepared for civil services, okay, seriously prepared, okay, and they failed in their career. Even if they don't make in government service, okay, they become CEOs of company. I have several of my friends, you know, like I know them. So the thing is, it really builds a kind of, a decision-making skill, knowledge to talk about anything, right? After some time, you will talk about anything and everything, right? After this preparation. So, this is the real skill you are adding. So, let us prepare in the most serious manner, but nothing is going to happen. It is, need not have to worry about the results. Dhoni said, the process is important, not the results, right? If you do the process, the results will come. It is next year or the following year. Let us be patient, right? So what we need to do is choose the subject based on your interest. You have to sustain the interest. Okay, sustain the interest. Then check overlap with the GS. Sometimes it would be very helpful. Availability of resources. Then analyze previous year questions, optionals, time required for mastery, scoring, trend analysis, long-term sustainability. This is what we are saying. In fact, long-term sustainability is very important. Keep on changing the options, not a recommended one. But people became successful. At least they made a decision. This is like a dilemma, right? He changed the option and became successful. Everybody will appreciate him. He keep on changing the options and never succeeded. Everybody will say he was changing the options, because of that he was not successful, right? The world will speak both ways, right? But we have to be careful, right? Selecting the option, we have to live with that option for the next, 1 or 2 years. Then optional subject preparation, master basic concepts, limited reliable resources, use reliable resources. Then make micro notes, regular answer writing, several things we discussed. Connect with current affairs, previous, practice previous year questions, focus on value addition. Your value addition is very important. Say your, geography optional, okay. You have to, give that wow feeling to the invigilator. Your answer, he's seeing how many papers he will see, a few hundreds. And if your answer is standing out, what I heard in the past is, this is seen multiple peoples, right? It is not like one person. There is a, level playing they do. So, if your answer is very stunning, you will get very good marks. So you have to focus on, you should not be simply satisfied that they asked this question, I presented whatever I studied in the book. It is not enough. You have to do that extra homework. That extra homework is the value addition. For example, you buy something, you buy some food in a restaurant, and he does, small things, here and there. That is a value addition. The waiter is very nice, okay, and he's polite, and he brings the the bowl, okay. So several small things, but it is food is okay. You have presented, everybody had the food, all waiters serve the food, the same food. But with some waiters, we may be, very happy because he do some value addition, whether knowing or without knowing, okay. So, that value addition is very important. Simply presenting the average mark. What is the typical average? The topper's mark, it is 50 to 60%, right? This is the topper's mark. This is because of the small value additions they do, they score, few extra points. Then test series and mock exams. This is very important. This is the one, the test series and mock exams. This is the one that will allay our, anxiety fears, writing practice. We have to, try to do maximum test possible. That is the only way we can, reduce these fears, writing the right answers, and we get the feedback. Feedback is very important. And based on the feedback, we have to, sometimes we receive the feedback, but we don't act on that. All feedbacks, you have to act upon it. Then only there will be an improvement, right? Take both prelims and main marks, simulate exam environment, analyze mistakes deeply, improve speed and accuracy, then develop exam temperament. Exam temperament means, like I am appearing for this exam. Maybe it is 4 months or 5 months away, but still think, just 5 months for the exam. The best way is having a countdown. Okay, just, when we see in months, it looks a little larger, but say 100 days, it gives some, some sort of, mindset, temperament. Then, track progress monthly, use test as revision tools. This, a test is the only way to validate our preparation. And when you take in a larger setup, you can have a benchmark, Otherwise, sometimes we will pat on ourselves, say, I have written a wonderful answer. In fact, I used to do that. I will write some essay and I will correct myself. Okay. And I will say, this is a nice essay. But, I got very poor score in essay. So, this is just patting our back. I wrote a very nice answer, okay, or nice essay. So, the only way to validate is taking these tests, okay. Then writing practice and presentation. Practice daily answers, underline keywords, okay. The keywords, as I said, using AI generate these keywords. These tools are, very much useful. But use these social media tools, don't spend your entire time on this. And sometimes, somebody will sit on ChatGPT and they will create, another whole material for this. Don't, start doing everything at one go, because you will be keep on engaged with that. Today, take 5 topics, create the keywords, master them, then go to the next. Small chunk at a time, rather than taking the entire option, spending the next 1 week, as if I'm going to, publish a research paper, right? Don't do that. It will be wasted. Rather, spend time in small chunks, take 5 topics, generate these keywords, and, memorize them or, act on this. Stick to word limits, very important. Then use headings, subheadings, diagrams, flowcharts, wherever it is, relevant. I will tell you, a joke. Okay. Here, why I'm saying joke is, you should laugh after this. Okay. So, in psychology, there was a, my option is geography. In psychology, I had a question. They were asking about the distribution of, the psychology, from the psychological perspective, the distribution of the internal disturbances in India across, across India, they are asking. So, I don't know the answer for this. So, what I did, something if you write, you will get a few marks here and there. So, what I did, as a geography student, India map is, very well. So, I drawn the India map, okay, and marked, here and there, and said, these are all the different reasons. So, this is going through the minds of people, all sort of things I wrote. And my friend sitting behind, he started making, I never discussed with anybody, okay. And after, coming out of the exam, after coming to the hostel, he was telling everyone, Venkadesh was drawing, India map in psychology paper. Okay. So, it became a, I don't have anything else. Okay. So, I did that. But I, somehow I made this, it will not be visible to anybody. But this guy was, he also don't know the answer, it seems. He was looking at my paper. So, it is, we need to, diagrams wherever relevant, right? I'm saying, you should not draw irrelevant diagrams. Sometimes the invigilator may be unhappy, his unhappiness is not affordable, right? It is, he has to be very happy. So then, time discipline in writing, show balanced multi-dimensional view, okay? Then personality test preparation. Here, not a memory test, I said this, because when you cross this, optionals, very good preparation, you have a very good knowledge. okay, on your subjects. Focus on, some of the areas like your village, your town, your state, something very unique about it, because these people are sitting there, they're very knowledgeable. I don't know whether they will prepare something and come to the interview. Okay, not, okay. So they are such a knowledgeable person. Okay. So, somebody was asking, in the interview board, somebody was asking about Tirunelveli halwa, when I said Tirunelveli. Okay. So what is so unique about this? I heard several times, but never thought about that. Okay. And gave also to several people in Tamil, so for several people. But, I never thought, what is the success for this? So I was making up some answers. It is because of the Tamrabarani water. Then I said this is with a very closely knit family, so the recipe is not out. They were partially convinced. Okay. Then they said this, keep this halwa. Okay. So, the DAF based preparation, you give this DAF right at the time of mains, right? Before your mains you give, right? So, write this very consciously. Consult with faculties here. Okay, consult with them, whoever is specialist here, discuss with them. We think, this is going to happen after 9 months. My focus is not on interview. I write something and send it across. I, hobby watching movies. Okay, this is the most, I would say, most found hobby, right? Watching music, listening music, watching movies. Okay, you will have some real good hobby, you'll please find it. Even gardening, okay. So whatever the hobby we need to, it should be consciously selected, and don't fill this DAF, because DAF is going to drive your interview. All these people are having these copies in front of you. And we never had a time after writing this to go through this. You get the point, right? Many people, don't spend much time on what they have written on the DAF. So in DAF, each word is important. Your street name is Vausi Nagar. Somebody will ask, who is Vausi? Tell me about Vausi, right? They will find, each and every word, maybe they know the answer, they don't know the answer, that is different. But they can ask a lot of questions out of this. So focus on DAF, consciously write this, validate with the faculties here. Don't simply submit and as the, for the sake of finishing it and sending it, don't do that. And keep a copy of it, keep multiple copies. Then be aware of current issues, honest and confident answer. Never try to bluff to them. That is my simple request. They are very smart people. They are sitting at the age of 60, and within, couple of answers, they will find, whether I'm honest or not. If I'm trying to bluff to them or trying to convince them, okay, they will say yes. It will reflect in the mark. They won't, argue with you that this is wrong, you are, what is your preparation. They will never say anything, it will reflect in your marks. So, honesty is appreciated there, I would say. If I don't know, don't know, okay. Or can I make a guess, and you can, ask for this permission, and then you can give the answer. Then practice mock interviews. Mock interview is, ultimately beneficial. Mock interviews. Those days, we had amateur mock interviews. What is amateur mock interviews? I was interviewed by my friend and he was interviewed by me. Okay. So, so I have to tell him that you have done well, so that he will tell me that I have done well. Right? This is again patting the back, not helpful. Right? Go through the real mock interviews, and I learned from boss that, the mock interviews are amazing here. People come from all over India to have the mock. Okay, they are sitting in Delhi and coming here to have the mock. So, the best of the best people are, a part of this, mock interviews. So take advantage of this, and, it is, try to spend more time on mock interviews, and you have to act on the feedback. Simply attending another mock, that way we will not improve. Whatever the feedback, we have to note it down. They will give you the feedback and act on this. Okay, acting on the feedback is very important. Then grooming and body language. Grooming, I don't know whether I'm okay, so whether I can talk on this, I will seek his permission. Okay, so neatly dressed, okay, and these days we have different hairstyles, okay, mushroom cloud, right? In geography, I'm saying, maintain a decent hairstyle, okay, everybody. Traditional is, the people sitting there are 60, right? They will, they want, they're conservative, right? Somebody, what is my thinking? I will be, very conservative. I'm very conservative. I will be not, I'm very conservative, right? The traditional values. So somebody sitting at 60, they will be, they appreciate this. They make certain, it is nothing right or wrong. The time changes, style changes, that is fine after becoming civil servant, right? But until that, because somebody is going to judge us, right? I cannot go and explain that, because of this only I'm having this. I cannot give you a story about behind my style, right? Nobody will ask for it. They will just make this is called prejudice. Prejudice is a wrong word or negative word in psychology, prejudice. That means by seeing somebody, I make some judgment. Sometime it may be right, sometime it may be wrong. It is not a learned judgment, right? All human beings, whatever be the level of knowledge, whatever be the level of education, we have that, right? We have some prejudice. So, prejudice is wrong actually, but you cannot avoid in a society, right? So, traditional is best, right? And here, then body language. Body language, somebody, gave me few tips on this during those days. And then later, I read several books. And in body language, sitting in a chair in a upright position, okay, and leaning towards the, interviewer and maintaining eye contacts, okay, moderately loud, some people naturally have a very loud voice. Some people have a very, faint voice. So we have to train these things, okay, accent, using, do some, speech training, you have to, standing in front of a mirror and talking to ourselves, okay, do it alone, right? Right? So, these practices once in a while, okay, it will be helpful. Then balanced, unbiased opinions, this balance will come all across, okay. Then humility and plus positivity. Positivity, what is positivity? The people sitting in the interview board should not, think, if I select this guy, what will happen to India? Okay, we should not scare them, right? We should give positive thing, what will happen to India in next 10 years, okay? What we have achieved in 75 years. If somebody asking like this is not a positive thing, right? We are transforming, right? At the same time, we could not say, we have reached these kind of milestones, okay? Some milestones we can say, some milestones, we are lacking, we are, working on this. What will be your contribution? The discussion will go in that direction, right? So, positive answers, positive, when the mind is not positive, we always say, there is, in Advaita, the three parts, the body, the mind, and the soul, right? The body, mind, and the soul. So the, the acronym is what? positive words, positive mind, and positive actions. And all this starts with the positive mind, right? The positive mind, positive words, and positive actions. If we are, maintaining this, even during our discussion, I will tell you one story. What happened, this way back in 2006, I took sabbatical leave from IRAS, went to US for a MBA program. It's a 1.5 year MBA program. Many people will have one question, anyway it will come, I will answer that time. So I went for, US for this 1.5 year program. I had one person from Pune. He is highly pessimistic person. Everybody will run away from him. Okay. Some kind of negative energy, I would say. I'm not saying he's demonic, okay, but some negative energy. Negative energy in the sense, everything he will talk about negative. Okay. For example, those days, the financial crisis, global financial crisis, 2008. So we are, 2 days before that, we graduated from the MBA program. Okay. So, he will say, but everybody knows that there is going to be a financial crisis 3-4 months back. So he will come, Venkadesh, will we get a job? Okay, because everybody is hoping for a job, right? After this MBA, then only we can repay the loan. Coming back to India, we cannot repay the loan. So, you have to work at least for some time to repay the loan. So here he will say, Venkadesh, you will get, he will talk about this on and on. After some time, you will be literally demotivated. Okay. Don't have this mindset, Even during the preparation, don't fear for this. There's nothing about, a good planning, discipline, that should be our focus. Never fear, because the feared mind cannot achieve anything, right? The feared mind cannot achieve. So, nothing to worry about this, but, we have to go in a sincere path. The process should be good, right? Then technology for UPSC preparation. Good laptop is, I would say, this is my recommendation, okay? But I won't say without laptop you cannot achieve, that is not true. So, have a good laptop and have this, use these technologies, a lot of material, different things you can, for example, The Economist, one of the good magazine, you can read this in online, okay, The Economist. So, maybe there is a bias. Okay, the Wall Street Journal, what is happening in the headlines. Today, UPSC is, I would say, it is global perspective, right? Wherever required, it is Indian perspective, but a global perspective, So now, a lot of tariff wars are going on, several things. So we need to, appreciate this. So you can get different views. In fact, this is a tool for our language improvement. Then digital note-taking tools like Evernote. OneNote is, free. Evernote you have to pay, there is a license fee. But OneNote you can, this is a cloud-based one. You can access this in your mobile, your, your laptop or iPad. Then flashcards, there's a, app available, Anki. Then apps for current affairs, online test series. Then cloud storage for notes. So social media, use cautiously. This is very important. Finally, after purchasing this laptop, he will end up in Netflix. He will come out of this only after mains, right? This happens. We should not, we have to be, this is like a double-edged sword. Mr. Bhuminathan was saying the other day, the social media is a boon or bane. Okay. We were discussing on this, and, now our faculties' focus should be encourage the use of these tools, but also continuously caution them. Maybe literally every week we have to talk about this, because, without our knowledge we will get into this. And now there is, in YouTube, there is a section called Shorts. right? You know, like this is a very dangerous tool actually. This reduces the attention span of people. You know, you want, you know, like this is like a dopamine. You are not able to listen to, you know, like today if we ask somebody, you know, which video, you know, like now with the current generation, which video you watched continuously for 30 minutes, everybody will say no. Nobody has the patience to listen, you know, like to a 30-minute video or 1 hour video continuously. You know, like this is, you know, like this is the bad part of, you know, shorts. You have to completely stay away from this, okay? And checking mobile every other minute, okay? Keep the mobile, you know, like nothing going to happen, okay? And once in a while, okay, checking this when you are free time. Because this social media, then LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, you know, like you have to select these tools. Some are productive, some are counterproductive. You have to tag them. Okay, this counterproductive, stay away from them. Okay, WhatsApp, Telegram, useful. You know, the thing is like you will get, your friends will share some materials, some current event, you know, like articles, you know, it is helpful. But at the same time, you know, you will get unnecessary things also. So stay away from these things. Then, you know, like a cloud storage for notes. As I said, you know, like have a cloud storage, you know, rely on the cloud storage, because suddenly, you know, like, because, you know, like close to the examination, if your laptop fails to reboot, you have the entire notes. That itself is a huge shock to us, right? You know, like the last 3 days, nothing is going to change in the exam, right? You know, this is such an exam. Whatever you have read in the last 3 days, not even a word will come in the examination, right? You know, like, so last 3 days, but if there is something happening to this laptop where all the notes are there, we will be, you know, severely stressed. So rely on the cloud storage. Common mistakes to avoid. Too many sources. This is the biggest problem. Too many sources. You know, like I am, you know, literally binging on these materials, gathering more and more, you know, gathering more and more. And many people never stop this. And they constantly collect. You know, rely on the institute, you know. That will be taken care by the institute. What is the right material? What should you go through that? You know, institute will take care of that. Academy will take care of this. Okay. And you need not have to, you know, spend on this and collect more. You know, like we will read some part in everything. Then ignoring revision. This is another thing. I am constantly reading, because we are always, you know, like normally civil service aspirants are, you know, curious individuals. Agree? Curious. We like to know new things, right? You know, like something is completely new, we are fascinated. Okay. So we are curious, but this curious is good. Again, this is a bone or bane question. Because of this curious, we will learn something, absorb something quickly, but at the same time, we will go out of syllabus. We will, you know, like say Karur incident, we will be discussing for the next 10 days, you know, or tariff, you know, like what is the essence? We have to focus on the issue, not the news. You know, tariff, every day new news will come, how it evolves. What is the evolution? That's enough. Again, going through this and, you know, like the key items, that's it, enough. So we will be, you know, like spending more time on this news articles. Okay. Sometimes, you know, like half a day somebody is reading the newspaper. Initially it happens, that is fine. Okay, somebody is laughing. Okay. Initially, you know, like the first few, I would say weeks, it is okay. But, you know, like till the examination, if somebody is, you know, like spending half a day on newspaper, it is, I would say it is unproductive. Then neglecting optional. Mostly people don't do that. But, you know, like now it is one option, we can do a good job. Reading but not practicing. Again, you know, writing practice is not there. Not analyzing marks. I'm simply appearing, like preparing. I'm continuously appearing for this examination, not collecting the feedback, not acting on the feedback, you know. Then finally getting stuck in resource collection, my friend with the bike. Okay, you know. So he was, I don't know whether he's still doing, okay. So, you know, like, it is, you know, like every day he starts at 10 a.m. material collection, okay. So, you know, like not a good idea, okay. We have to stop at some point of time. Nowadays you need not have to bother because you have more materials than required. Then mindset and motivation. UPSC is a marathon, not a sprint. We have to keep it in mind. It's a marathon. You know, like, bring this discipline. You know, like, make your own plan. You know, don't adopt somebody's plan. Make your own plan. Follow it 21 days or, you know, 48 days. You know, the Western world says 21 days is enough. But, you know, in Indian philosophy, it is one mandalam, right? You know, or mandalam. So 48 days, it will be more robust, I would say. So, you know, like, do this religiously and, you know, like, you will stick to this plan. You know, this will be very helpful for your preparation. This is a smart way of doing. You know, like the last few months I'm going to work hard. I'm making this plan. No, it should be from today, right? Then accept failures as stepping stones. Never be, you know, like, you know, disappointed. You know, this is, you know, like, you will be very successful, no doubt. You know, you got into civil services preparation, that itself require a lot of guts, right? You know, that itself you have a lot of guts. So you will be very successful, no doubt. But, you know, like, we should not be disappointed in the middle and, you know, like, it will actually bring you back only, not forward. Then stay consistent, not perfect. You know, like, too much of perfection, that is also not required. But do it every day, like Dhoni said, right? The process is important. Avoid peer pressure. The peer pressure is, have you studied this? Okay, listen to that. Good advice take into consideration. But you will hear 100 times in a day, right? You cannot act on 100 ideas, then you will have, you won't have your own plan. Or you cannot execute your own plan, right? Then build a support system. Build a support system. The main support system is family, then friends, right? Then faculties. You know, like, build this support system. Talk to them. You know, like, talking to well-wishers is a stress buster. You know, we will get stress, of course. You know, in fact, those days, you know, like, I, you know, resigned the job. Okay, it is in, you know, L&T is my dream job. It is a, you know, like, those days, L&T is the pioneer for mechanical engineering, okay, and civil engineering. So, you know, like, this is a dream job. With lot of difficulty, after going through several rounds, okay, I landed in this job. So, you know, like, all my relatives, friends, everybody, you know, like, in fact, the DGM, when I was saying about to resign, the DGM called me, you know, he said, Venkadesh, 20 years back I gave this exam, last 3 years, then joined L&T. Don't do this mistake. You know, I'm going to resign, and some people are advising like this. Okay. So, you know, like, but with a lot of courage, I resigned. In fact, you know, like, my family very much needs that money. Okay. You know, like, the salary, we are middle class. So, you know, like, the salary is very important. My you know, like, two younger brothers, both are in college. One is in medicine, another one is in engineering. So, you know, like, in this circumstances, I am taking this decision. It is a tough decision, okay. So, you know, like, a lot of pressures from family, friend, everybody, okay. Then finally, you know, like, this is the, you know, like, a kind of pressure. So you need to have a support system. Except my parents and my brothers, everybody said no to my decision. Okay, so, you know, like, this will, you know, like, so you need to have a strong support system, build that. So who are the support system? Your family, brothers, sisters, you know, like, convince them, you know, like, sometimes they also, you know, may not like this. So convince them, you know, like, then friends, faculties, you know, talk to them so that, you know, like, you will get this motivating words, you know, like, we need to hear this motivation very frequently. Okay, or even, you know, in YouTube, you know, like, this motivating self-help videos are there. Rely on that, you know. Then build a support system. Then stay curious and enjoy learning. Stay curious, we are gifted. Okay, we are curious and enjoy learning. Never ever take this as a burden. You have done your graduation, very good. You are successful students, and now you are venturing on another path. Enjoy this experience, and do your sincere work. Do sincere work, and you will be very successful. No doubt. Then believe in your journey. Then the last one, health, stress and lifestyle management, very important. You have to be, don't take any food. Some of my friends, they will become sick close to the examination. There is a, there is a psychological thing behind. When the stress level is high, we will become easily sick. You get this? The mind and body works together. Mind affects body, body affects mind. So very close to the exam, they will, they will have fever and, other problems. So you have to be very cautious. Proper sleep cycle. Lack of sleep is a very good eraser. Lack of sleep is a very good eraser. Whatever you have learned, you will forget. Lack of sleep is a very good eraser. You have to have proper sleep. Maintain this rhythm by, maybe by, if you are, planning to get up by 5 a.m., then, at least by 10, 11 p.m., you should wind up everything. Okay. And, after that, watching, mobiles, okay, or, then a couple of hours will go on that. That is not a proper sleep. So, you have to be, drop dead. I go to bed almost by 7:38. I miss Mr. Bhuminathan's call, I missed several times, because, I'll sleep like drop dead. By 8 p.m., because, I wake up at 3 and no sleep in between. So by 8, because of these several works, by 8 p.m. I will be almost drowsy. In fact, if somebody speaks to me, why you are, your words are like this, they will doubt. Okay. Why your words are, elongating. Okay. So, literally somebody asked me, because, if I have lack of sleep, the speaking, those things will be, a little, weird. Okay. Then balanced diet. Avoid, have a consistent food. The idli, dosa, these things are very good. This is a very good invention, right? Idli is very good. Anytime you have anywhere, no problem. Okay. But the fast food items, high calorific value, okay, this you may not, find at this age, but by 30 it starts reflecting in your health. Okay. So maintain a, balanced diet, regular exercise or yoga. There is a, a simple exercise called simplified Kundalini yoga. Okay. You will not become a monk. Okay. But, you will be, very good. When I say Kundalini, somebody will think, he's telling the path to a monk. Okay. So the simplified Kundalini yoga, these are all simple exercises. You can finish in 20-25 minutes. So if you do that, it's really very good. And any exercise or simple walking would be more than enough. In Anna Nagar, you have very good parks available. So having a simple walk, 20 minutes, 25 minutes, brisk walk every day, we have to, plan for our time. In fact, you are the busiest person, I would say. Many will think, you are studying. No. You are preparing for civils. No. You are really busy person. You will have, very time-tabled schedule, and you have to do it accordingly. You will not find the time. Then short breaks for focus. Take some rest also in between. Manage stress with meditation. Meditation is a very good thing. Then limit social distractions. Okay. Then, keep hobbies alive for balance. Hobbies will, one, it is helpful for our interview. Another one, hobbies, keep it live, make it real. Not just for the namesake, for the, personality test. Rather, make it live. They can find out, whether you have read riding a bicycle or really rode the bicycle, right? Somebody reading a book on how to ride a bicycle, right? This person is presenting his views, and somebody really rode the bicycle, there is a difference. With this, finished, okay. So, any questions?
12 years of journey.
Okay. Yeah, correct. So, a few minutes. So, I will share. I was talking to boss, but I forgot. We were, we were sitting in a small room in one of the office, his friend's office, way back in 2012-13, right? We were discussing in a small room about starting the academy, okay, and we had various views, and I told him I will take geography. So what Mr. Bhuminathan said is, Venkadesh, are you a good teacher? Will you be able to teach? He took my interview that day. So I was teaching one topic, right? And I was a little scared, okay? Because I was interested in teaching, whether he will approve me for this geography teaching. So I was literally scared. I will prepare for a couple of days. Studying is different, teaching is different, right? Without much knowledge, I have to teach, right? Geography. So that is the most important thing. So I was, little scared, and somehow I was cleared. So then, I started geography teaching. So this is a very humble beginning. And right from the day, he was very focused on quality, right? He was very focused on quality. Though we were friends, just for the sake of friends, he will not let somebody to teach. Okay, that was very clear that time. So,
But all other members, we are all close friends.
Correct. Everybody is close friends.
Prakash was all India 4th rank, but still, we made him to give the demo. After that only he was recruited for handling the geography class. One of the highest scorer in India.
2nd rank, boss.
Yeah.
2nd rank.
No,
Prakash. 4th, huh? Okay.
He took a demo in front of all of us. Then he was shortlisted for handling the classes.
So, he was very meticulous on the
Prakash,
all the other members here, right?
The director of Fhyzics IAS Academy, he also took a demo.
Correct.
Yeah, he
Correct.
was appointed. And other members, all the key personalities were shortlisted. In fact, he was the one who got very less score. Okay, right?
So,
yeah.
So it was, it was that humble beginning, but right from the beginning, his focus is on quality. Because, what he said is, quality only will bring us to the top. The quality will speak for a long time, rather than, simply running for the sake of running, okay. So, that is the beginning. Then it was with, one building. And, we had, various milestones. In fact, he is the person, made this, gave a corporate structure to civil services training, I would say in entire India. Okay, the corporate style, the organizational structure, everything was, most of the institutes by that time, until I would say 2012 is a watershed year, right? Like for me, before COVID, after COVID, this 2012 is a watershed year for, watershed year means before something, after something. There is a difference, marked difference. So, most of them are centered on one person. Centered on one person. If Venkadesh is there, everybody will come. Maybe everybody will not come. Okay. So, that is the way the institutes were looked. But after that, he said, one person cannot be, his view is, we were also telling the same thing, but what he said, we have to change this mindset. One person cannot deliver everything to these people, right? One person cannot deliver everything. Rather, we should have a strong team, and that is the way this should be built, right? And on this, I hear about this Navaratna and the faculty team. He has done a fabulous job. And now, the second building is added. Across Tamil Nadu, there is a very good awareness on civil services. Visiting, always he is busy. Okay, I know. Always he is busy. And every time, I will ask him, are you in Chennai? Okay, he is traveling all across Tamil Nadu and, spreading this awareness. That itself is a great job. And during my time, there is a very clear, I would say, myth. Very clear myth means very strong myth. What is that strong myth? Only, academically very successful candidates can succeed in civil services. That is not very true. Okay, not very true. To some extent I can say okay, but not completely true. If somebody, I got very bare minimum marks and passed the graduation. In fact, till I was there in railways, they never checked my certificate. My graduation certificate, nobody checked. I was thinking that this was only the case. My doubt is, after some time if they check and they say you are disqualified. My fear is. So I was checking with my other friends. Everybody was telling the same thing. UPSC never checked their, now they have changed the process because of some issues. Right? The case, right? So, all degree certificates, everything should be checked. They have changed the process. There is a standard operating procedure they have developed. Okay. So, those things are happening now. But, those days, that is a kind of confidence. This exam, if somebody is not a graduate, somebody is not very good, they cannot clear this exam. But, very good hard work, hard and smart work, both are important. Hard work in the sense, on the discipline, on the rhythm, we have to be very strong. On the smart work is, rely on these tools and other things, right? So, so the journey is, I'm seeing a gradual growth, never looking back, and, constantly expanding, okay. And that is the, that is the, I would say, validation of his quality mindset, okay. And that speaks, about KingMakers. So, in fact, I don't know whether he told you, we do this Annadanam, right? Some 100 to 200, they have this breakfast every day. One of the thing is, worshipping God is by feeding his children, In fact, I feed crows, birds in general, then I feed cows. A lot of, people complain in nearby, okay, I have to manage them also, because, sometime, some 20 cows were standing in front of my house, okay. Sometime in the early morning, 6, 7, nobody is able to cross this way, that way, so then I kind of whenever they are coming in crowds, I will not, feed them. But now I changed the, methodology. Whoever comes and makes a sound, I know the cows by sound. Okay, this guy, I have one cow with a double voice. He will give, he'll start with something, end with a different note. So I know this is one cow. Another cow, he is simply moo. That's it. This is a white cow. So I know all this cow by this time. So I then feed dogs. The recent controversy. So I was little, cautious. Feed them at 4 itself so that nobody sees. Putting the biscuits and the, on the between the middle of my house and next house, so that some mischief. Okay. So feeding, feeding the living things is worshipping the God. It is there in every religion. In Islam, like my friend Mubarak says, zakat, give 2% of your wealth to, poor people. In Christianity, they have this, in every religion, so we have this, giving, in fact, I would recommend to you, at least, give one food to, whoever is, can do, give one food, or just buy a couple of vadas and give it to somebody, poor people, rather than treating your friends. Nowadays, all my friends know that this guy will come for any reception, marriage. I'm going for my friend's son's daughter's weddings, right? This guy will come for this food, but he will not give any gifts. They know very well, because I made it as a policy that, giving gift to, this is just for status symbol, right? Giving gift to, costly gifts, my 10,000 or 20,000 gift, he is a millionaire, okay? It doesn't going to change anything, but rather, giving to somebody, who is not able to have food, and I know several people, even in the corporation workers, I see some of the people, they are brilliant. I interact with them, they are brilliant. Maybe God has given this opportunity to me, he or she didn't get the opportunity. Okay. So, it is not about, high, low, nothing is there. So, the best form of worship is giving food to somebody who is hungry. Don't give it to, treating your friends for status, something. Okay. And boss gives, I don't know, he may not have told this, several times, I would say, he sponsored the entire month's Annadanam. Okay. Entire month. Okay. It's very costly. Okay. 100 to 200 people having food every day. And, for example, I make, I'm the cook. My wife doesn't accept. Okay. I tell I'm the chief cook. Okay. I make a nice veg biryani. Okay. So, it is, it made with very quality stuff, no compromise. I will do it better than when I do for our home. In fact, our morning breakfast is also the same thing. We don't cook two different things. There is not much of time, because my son has to go to school, younger son. The other one now works with me. So, we all have the same food. So, it is the best quality, so costly. And, Mr. Bhuminathan, silently, he helps. And, it is a, and I recommend all of you, this is the best form of prayer. Give one food whenever possible. Make it as a regular habit if you can afford. Okay. And, even simple things like buy a biscuit packet, give it to somebody who is very poor or, looking for food. This is really good. In fact, I said this sloka at the beginning, right? What it says, you keep the devotion in me, okay? Keep the devotion in me. Me in the sense is saying, all the living beings. Keep the devotion, and I will take care of everything for you, right? I will take care of. I bring whatever you want. And there is a technique to pray to God, okay? Very secret. You may not have heard from anybody. Okay, I can confidently say. So, whenever you pray, whatever you want, okay, whenever you pray to God, keep some portion of, unselfishness. When you ask completely selfish thing, that I want this for me, rejected, right? It will not be approved. But when you ask something with a social cause, I have tested several times, okay, whatever you ask, pray for everybody, don't exclusively pray for you, pray for everybody. And when you pray that, for example, you want to be successful in civil service, make a vow, okay, if I am posted in a district, I will take all the steps to alleviate poverty. Okay, he likes this. Okay, you know, so like okay, this applicant is selected. Okay, you know, so this is a tactic to, I won't say tactic, God knows this, right? You know, I won't say tactic. It is a, it is a best way of praying. Praying not only for us, like some element. I'm not saying that we have to be, selfless. Keep some amount of selfish, 60%, 40% others' welfare. That way you pray, it will, it really happens. That's what God wants. So, with this, I conclude and I thank you so much for your patient listening. Okay. Thank you, boss.
Check. So, end of the session on the tone. We have organized so many sessions. Few sessions வந்து உங்களுடைய மதிப்பெண்ணை வந்து அதிகரிக்கும். ஒரு சில கிளாஸஸ் உங்களுடைய தனிப்பட்ட மதிப்பு அதிகரிக்கும். எனக்கு தெரிஞ்ச வரைக்கும் இது உங்களுடைய மதிப்பெண்ணையும் அதிகரிக்கும், உங்களுடைய மதிப்பையும் அதிகரிக்கும். ஒரு செஷன் வாழ்க்கையை புரட்டி போட்டுரும். சில நேரங்களில் ஒரு வார்த்தைகள் நம்மளுடைய டெஸ்டினியை டிசைட் பண்ணிவிடும். அப்படித்தான் நான் நிறைய நேரங்களில் நிறைய சந்திப்புகளில் என்னுடைய வாழ்க்கையில் நான் சார்ட்டிருந்து கற்றுக்கிட்ட விஷயங்கள். ஐ எம் ஷுர் இந்த செஷன் உங்கள் அத்தனை பேருக்குமே ஐ திங்க் அவர் இந்த ப்ரிப்ரேஷனுக்கு தேவையான விஷயங்களை சொல்லாத விஷயங்களே இல்லை அப்படின்னு சொல்கிற அளவுக்கு ப்ரிலிம்ஸ், மெயின்ஸ், பர்சனாலிட்டி டெஸ்ட், டைம் மேனேஜ்மெண்ட், ஹெல்த் டிப்ஸு, தென் சோசியல் மீடியா எப்படி மேனேஜ் பண்ணணும், ரைட்டிங் ப்ராக்டிஸு, கோஹரன்ஸு, ரெலவென்ஸு எல்லாத்தையும் பற்றியும் கவர் பண்ணிட்டார். மொத்த ஸ்ட்ராட்டஜியும் மொத்தமாக முடிச்சிட்டார். எல்லா ஃபேக்கல்ட்டிஸும் அவங்கவுங்க எத்தனையோ பேர் எத்தனையோ அட்வைஸ் கொடுத்தா கூட ஒரே ரிசோர்ஸ் பர்சன் மொத்தத்தையும் கவர் பண்ணியிருக்காரு. இஸ் ஒரு எக்ஸலண்ட்டான ஒரு ஸ்ட்ராட்டஜிஸ்ட். லைஃப்பில் நான் பார்த்த நிறைய நபர்களில் ரொம்ப பார்த்து வியந்த நபர். அகெயின் எதுக்கு அப்படின்றது இந்நேரம் உங்களுக்கு தெரிஞ்சிருக்கும். ஏன் அவர்கிட்ட நான் அட்வைஸ் கேட்டு போகிறேன் அப்படின்றதும் இந்த செஷன் அட்டன் பண்ணதுக்கப்புறம் உங்களுக்கு புரிஞ்சிருக்கும். ஐ எம் ஷுர் இன்றைக்கி இந்த செஷன் உங்களுக்கு அடுத்து ஒரு 3 மாதங்களுக்கு மினிமம் அட்லீஸ்ட் ஒரு பெரிய ஒரு தாட் ப்ரோவோக்கிங் செஷனாக இருக்கும். இந்த 3 மாதம் யாரெல்லாம் இந்த செஷன் நினைவில் வச்சுக்கிறீங்களோ அவங்களுக்கு லைஃப் லாங் ஒரு தாட் ப்ரோவோக்கிங் செஷனாக இருக்கும். ஒரு மண்டலம் அப்படின்னு சொன்னார் சார். நீங்கள் எல்லாருமே 2 மண்டலங்களை கடந்துட்டீங்க. ஒரு மண்டலத்தை கடக்கலை, 2 மண்டலம் கிராஸ் பண்ணியாச்சு. கிட்டத்தட்ட மோர் தென் 100 days வெரி சீரியஸ் ப்ரிப்ரேஷனுக்குள்ளே வந்தாச்சு. வெரி எக்ஸலண்ட் பேட்ச் பஸ். யூ ஹவ் சீன் மெனி பேட்சஸ், பட் எவ்ரி இயர் அந்த பேட்சோட குவாலிட்டி வந்து ரொம்ப இன்க்ரீஸ் ஆகிட்டு போகிறதவே பார்க்க முடியுது. ஐ எம் ஷுர் இந்நேரம் உங்களுக்கு எஸ் பாஸ் அப்பப்போ இப்படி தான் சொல்லுவார். ஆக்சுவலாக அவரோட அப்பாயின்மெண்ட்டுக்காக பெரிய பெரிய ஃபிலிம் டைரக்டர்ஸ்லாம் வெயிட் பண்ணது எனக்கு தெரியும். பெரிய பெரிய ஹீரோவெல்லாம் வெயிட் பண்ணது எனக்கு தெரியும். இன்ஃபேக்ட் அவரோட பையனுடைய பர்த்டே இப்போல்லாம் எனக்கு இன்ட்ரடியூஸ் பண்ணார் அந்த டைரக்டர், தனி ஒருவனுடைய டைரக்டர் ராஜாவை கூட எல்லாம் கொஞ்சம் நேரம் பேசுகிறதுக்கு வாய்ப்பு ஏற்படுத்தி கொடுத்தாரு. ஓகே, அந்த ஃபில்ம்லாம் பெரிய சக்ஸஸ் வந்ததுக்கு சாரோடைய ரோலும் ஒரு முக்கியமான ரோல் அப்படின்னு சொல்லி அந்த டைரக்டரே வந்து பயங்கரமாக பாராட்டினார். ஏன்னா அந்த ஃபில்ம் சீக்வன்ஸே ரொம்ப அழகாக இருக்கும். தனி ஒருவன் அதெல்லாமே அந்த ஃபில்முக்காக சார் வந்து ஒர்க் பண்ணுறப்ப ஈ வாஸ் ஹேண்ட்லிங் கிளாஸஸ். அதை எந்த அளவுக்கு அழகாக ஸ்ட்ரக்சர் பண்ணார், எவ்வளோ ஒரு ப்ரொஃபஷ்னலிசம் வந்து தேவைப்பட்டுச்சு, அது எவ்வளோ அழகாக இந்த சிவில் சர்வீஸ் நாலேஜ் வந்து அங்கே அவருக்கு ஹெல்ப்ஃபுல்லாக இருந்தது. அவர் ஒரு டெக்னோக்ரேட்டும் கூட, ரெண்டையும் சேர்த்து வச்சு ரொம்ப அழகாக ப்ரெசன்டேஷன் ரெடி பண்ணி வச்சுருந்தார். டைம் மேனேஜ்மெண்ட் மட்டும் இல்லை, நிறைய மணியை சேவ் பண்ணிச்சு அந்த படம் எடுக்கிறதுக்கு. கம்ப்ளீட் ஒரு ஃபில்மை வந்து படம் எடுக்க போகிறதுக்கு முன்னாடியே சார் வந்து கம்ப்ளீட் ரெடி பண்ணி கொடுத்துட்டார். ஸோ அந்த மாதிரியான ஒரு பர்சன். ஸோ இந்த அகாடமியை எப்படி கொண்டு போகணும் அப்படின்றத அடுத்த ஒரு 10 ஆண்டுகளுக்கு திட்டமிட்டு நம்ம கொடுத்த ஒரு நபர். ஃபஸ்ட்டு எப்படி இருக்கணும், கொஞ்ச நாள் கழிச்சு எப்படி இருக்கணும், இதுக்கப்புறம் எப்படி போகணும், இது எல்லாத்தையுமே ஈவன் நம்மளுடைய அந்த ஃபஸ்ட்டு அந்த பில்டிங்லேருந்து இன்னொரு பில்டிங் நம்ம மூவ் பண்ண போகிறப்ப கூட பார்த்தீங்க அப்படின்னு கேட்டிங்கன்னா சாரை தான் ஃபஸ்ட்டு டைம் கூப்பிட்டு போய் அங்கே காமிச்சேன். அந்த ஃபியர் ஆஃப் ஃபெயிலியர்ஸ் அப்படின்னு சொல்லி ஒரு வார்த்தையை சார் சொன்னார். அது இருக்கக்கூடாது அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு. பட் எல்லோரும் ஹியூமன் பீயிங் தான். நம்ம கொஞ்சம் ஒரு ஸ்டெப்பு அதிகமாக வைக்கிறப்போ ஒரு சின்ன தயக்கம் எல்லாருக்குமே வரும். அப்போ அந்த பில்டிங் கூட்டு போய் காமிக்கிறப்ப பாஸ் நீங்கள் சாதிச்சிருவீங்க பாஸ், ஏன்னா நாங்கள் 2 பேரும் பாஸ் தான் பேசி போகிறோம் 2 பேரும். ஏன்னா பாஸ் அதெல்லாம் ஒன்றும் கவலைப்படாதீங்க. அவர் சொன்ன இந்த பாயிண்ட் தான், நல்ல நோக்கத்திற்காக செய்யக்கூடிய அத்துணை காரியங்களையுமே சிறந்த காரியம் நிச்சயமாக வெற்றி பெறும்னு சொன்னார். உங்களுடைய பர்பஸ் எனக்கு தெரியும், நிச்சயமாக அது ஜெயிக்கும் அப்படின்னார். அந்த வேர்டு இன்னும் எனக்கு ஞாபகம் இருக்குது. மாடியில் மொட்டை மாடியில் சொன்னது, பஸ் த பர்பஸ் இஸ் வெரி ஜென்யூன், அதுக்காக நிச்சயமாக அது ஜெயிக்கும். வி டி நாட் ஹாவ் எனி மச் மணி, எதுவுமே கிடையாது. ஓகே, ஒன்லி விஷன் மட்டும் இருந்தது, ஐடியாஸ் மட்டும் இருந்தது, இப்படி கொண்டு போகணுன்ற ஒரு ஆசை இருந்தது. இது வரைக்கும் ஒரு 500 அவேர்னஸ் ப்ரோக்ராம்ஸ் கண்டக்ட் பண்ணியிருப்பேன் கம்ப்ளீட்டாக. இது அதுதான் எப்போ ஃபோன் பண்ணாலும் பாஸ் என்கிட்ட கேட்குறப்ப எந்த ஊரில் இருக்கீங்க அப்படின்னு தான் கேட்பார். இன்ஃபேக்ட் என் ஃபேமிலி மெம்பர்ஸ் என்னை என்கரேஜ் பண்ணுறதை விட பாஸோட என்கரேஜ்மெண்ட் ஒவ்வொரு வார்த்தைகள் தான் என்னெல்லாம் ஓட வச்சுருக்குன்னு சொல்லணும் நான். ஸோ இந்த நேரத்தில் ஏன்னா நீங்கள் இன்கேஸ் எனக்கு ஏதாவது நன்றி சொல்கிறீங்க அப்படின்னா நம்ம எல்லோரும் சேர்ந்து நன்றி சொல்லக்கூடிய ஒரு நபர் யாருன்னு கேட்டிங்கன்னா வெங்கடேஷ் நாராயணன். ஏன்னா இது ஒரு ஃபார்மல் ஓட் ஆஃப் தேங்க்ஸ் தான் நான் இருக்கணும்னு நினைக்கல. அது ஐ வாஸ் வெயிட்டிங் ஃபார் திஸ் ஸ்டேஜ். இத்தனை வருஷம் கழித்து இந்த ஸ்டேஜை ஐம் யூஸிங் திஸ் அஸ் அன் ஆப்பர்ச்சுனிட்டி டு கன்வே மை கிராட்டிடியூட். ஓகே, ஏன்னா அவர் செஞ்ச அந்த விஷயங்கள்லாம் பெரிய பெரிய விஷயங்கள். ஏன்னா நீங்கள் கஷ்டப்படுற காலகட்டத்தில் ஒரு நபர் உங்கள் கூட இருந்து உன்னால் முடியும்னு ஒன்று தட்டி கொடுத்து அந்த இடத்துல கூட நின்று சப்போர்ட்டிவாக நான் நினைக்கிறேன் நீ செய் அப்படின்னு சொல்கிறது சாதாரண விஷயம் கிடையாது. அதுவும் எல்லாம் உடஞ்சி இடிஞ்சு அப்படியே உட்காந்துருக்க டயத்தில் ஒருத்தர் கை கொடுத்து ஒருத்தர் கூப்பிட்டு போவார். அது சாதாரண விஷயம் கிடையாது. ஒரு நாள் நாங்கள் அண்ணாநகரில் 2nd அவென்யூ தெரியும், அந்த பஸ் ஸ்டாண்டு ஞாபகம் நினைக்கிறேன், பஸ் ஸ்டாப்பில் நைட்டு 12-2 மணி வரைக்கும் உட்காந்து பஸ் ஸ்டாப்பில் உட்காந்து 2 பேர் உட்காந்து மணிக்கணக்கில் பேசிகிட்டு இருக்கோம். வி ஸ்டார்டட் டிஸ்கஷன் அரௌண்ட் 8 o'clock. இட் வெண்ட் அப் டு 2-3 o'clock வரைக்கும் பஸ் ஸ்டாப்பில் உட்காந்து நாங்கள் 2 பேர் மட்டும் பேசிகிட்டே உட்காந்துருக்கோம். ஆல்மோஸ்ட்டு ஒரு எண்டு கண்டிஷனுக்கு அகெயின் என்னை ரெக்கவர் பண்ணி கொண்டு வந்த ஒரு கிரேட் ஒரு பர்சன்னா வெங்கடேஷ் நாராயணன் சார். இந்த மாதிரி நிறைய விஷயங்கள் லைஃப்பில் நம்ம வாழ்க்கையில் நிறைய மனிதர்கள் நம்ம வாழ்க்கையில் பார்ப்போம். ஓகே, ஸோ அது காட் வில் பிளான் எவ்ரி திங். ஸோ அப்படி தான் ஐ மெட் சார். இன்ஃபேக்ட் 2013 சாரை எனக்கு இன்ட்ரடியூஸ் பண்ணது சார் எனக்கு தெரியாது. அவர் நம்ம இஸ்ரேல் சாரும் அவரும் பேட்ச்மேட். அவங்க தான் எனக்கு இன்ட்ரடியூஸ் பண்ணார். பட் ஒரு 2013 அகாடமி ஆரம்பிக்கிறப்போ ஒரு சின்ன மிஸ் அண்டர்ஸ்டாண்டிங். சார் அவர் தனியாக ஆரம்பிக்கிறார், நான் தனியாக ஆரம்பிக்கிறேன். பட் ஹீ ஸ்டூட் வித் மீ, அவருடைய ஃப்ரெண்டு, ஹீ ஸ்டூட் வித் மீ. ஓகே, ஸோ எது நியாயத்தின் பக்கம், எது எப்படி கொண்டு போகணுன்ற அந்த எண்ணங்கள், இதெல்லாம் தான் அவர்கிட்ட இருக்கக்கூடிய பெரிய ஜென்யூனிட்டி. நம்ம என்ன பண்ணுவோம் அப்படின்னா, நம்ம ஃப்ரெண்டு இவர் மூலமாக தானே இவருக்கு தெரியும். அப்போ நம்ம என்ன பண்ணுவோம், நார்மலாக எடுக்கிற டிசிஷன் எப்பயுமே எடுப்போம், ஒருதலை பட்சமாக எடுப்போம். பட் அவர் சச் அன் எத்திக்கல் ஒரு ஹியூமன் பீயிங். இதெல்லாம் பார்க்குறது ரொம்ப அரிது. அந்த எத்திக்கல் குவாலிட்டிஸ் தான் இன்றைக்கி கடைசியாக அவர் பேச்சு முடிக்கிறப்ப உங்கள்கிட்ட சொன்னது ஒன்று, முடிஞ்ச அளவுக்கு ட்ரை டு ஹெல்ப் அதர்ஸ், நாட் ஓன்லி ஹியூமன் பீயிங் பட் ஆல்சோ ஈவன் அனிமல்ஸ். எந்த அளவுக்கு அவர் ஒரு நல்ல ஒரு ஹியூமன் பீயிங்காக இருக்காருன்னா, அந்த வாய்ஸை வச்சு கண்டுபிடிக்கிறார். எந்த டாக் வந்திருக்கு, எந்த கவ் வந்திருக்கு. நான் என்னை என்னோட இந்த பர்த்டே ப்ளஸ் இந்த வெட்டிங் டே, ஆனிவர்சரி, இந்த மாதிரி விஷயங்கள் நான் பெரும்பாலும் வெளியில் கொண்டாட மாட்டேன். சாரோட வீட்டில் தான் நாங்கள் கொண்டாடுறது வழக்கம். அப்போ எங்கள் ஃபேமிலியோட ஒரு முறை இது பண்ணிக்கிட்டு இருக்கப்போ, அவங்க வீட்டில் இருக்கிறப்ப கொண்டாட்டம்னா என்னென்னா, காலையில் ஃபுட்டு இவங்களுக்கெல்லாம் சர்வ் பண்ணுறது தான் எங்களோட கொண்டாட்டம். எல்லாருக்கும் பண்ணுவோம். அப்போ பண்ணுறப்ப அந்த முகத்தில் பார்த்த சந்தோஷம் இருக்குது பாருங்கள், அது வாங்கி சாப்பிட்டுட்டு போகிறவங்களுடைய அந்த சந்தோஷமும் சாரை வந்து அப்படியே கடவுளாக தான் பார்க்குறாங்க அத்தனை பேரும். ஒரு நாள் செய்யலாங்க, ஒரு வாரம் செய்யலாங்க, ஒரு மாதம் கூட செஞ்சிடலாம், ஒரு வருஷம் கூட செஞ்சிடலாம். வாழ்க்கை ஃபுல்லாக காலையில் 3 மணிக்கு எந்திரிச்சு ஒரு சிவில் சர்வெண்ட் அவரே சமைச்சு கையால் த பெஸ்ட் குவாலிட்டி ஃபுட்டு, அவ்வளோ அற்புதமாக இருக்கும் சமையல். ஏன்னா ஏதோ அன்னதானம் தானே அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு அவசர அவசரமாக பண்ணாமல் அவ்வளோ அற்புதமாக சமைச்சு காலையில் அத்தனை பேரையும் வயிறார சந்தோஷமாக சாப்பிட வச்சு ஒவ்வொன்றும் வெறும் சாதாரணமாக இருக்காது, வெரைட்டியாக ரெடி பண்ணுவார். சாம்பார், சட்னி, வடை, பொங்கல், இட்லி, என்னென்னோ இருக்கும். ஸ்பெஷல் அக்கேஷன்லாம் வேறு மாதிரி இருக்கும். பண்டிகை நாட்கள் அத்தனை பேரும் ரொம்ப வயிறார சாப்பிட்டுட்டு அந்த வாழ்த்திட்டு போகக்கூடிய அந்த ஃபேஸ் இருக்கு இல்லையா, அவர் சாரை கடவுளை தான் பார்ப்பாங்க எல்லாருமே. ஸோ அவ்வளோ அற்புதமான ஒரு வாழ்க்கையை வந்து அவர் வாழ்ந்துக்கிட்டு இருக்கார். ஸோ இதெல்லாம் நிறைய விஷயங்கள் வாழ்க்கையில் நீங்கள் கற்றுக்க வேண்டிய விஷயங்கள் நிறைய இருக்குது. ஸோ இன்றைக்கி வெறும் சப்ஜெக்ட் மட்டும் இல்லை, இன்றைக்கி அவர் எடுத்தது வந்து வாழ்க்கை பாடம், விச் இஸ் வெரி வெரி இம்பார்ட்டண்ட். ரேராக தான் இந்த மாதிரியான பர்சனை நம்ம வாழ்க்கையில் பார்ப்போம், ரொம்ப ரேர் இல்லையா? சிவில் சர்வீஸ் விட்டு வெளியில் வந்துட்டு பிஸ்னஸ் ஆரம்பித்து கோடிக்கணக்கில் சம்பாதிக்கணுன்னுக்காக வந்தவனை தான் நிறைய பேரை பார்த்துருக்கேன். என் வாழ்க்கையில் நான் பார்த்து நிறைய சிவில் சர்வீஸை பார்த்துருக்கேன். they came and they left the job for so many reasons. மேபி அங்கே ஏதோ ஒரு தப்பு பண்ணியிருக்கலாம், வெளில வந்திருக்கலாம். அதுக்கப்புறம் வந்ததுக்கப்புறம் உருப்படியாக இல்லை, வந்ததுக்கப்புறமே நிறைய அன்எத்திக்கல் ப்ராக்டிஸ், அப்படி ஆட்களை தான் நான் வாழ்க்கையில் பார்த்துருக்கேன். ஆனால் ஒருத்தர் சிவில் சர்வீஸு விட்டுட்டு ரொம்ப ஒரு பர்பஸ்ஃபுல்லான ஒரு விஷயத்துக்காக விட்டுட்டு, இது வந்து நம்ம பார்க்குறப்ப ஏதோ தன்னை தானே வருத்திக்கிட்டு இருக்காதே அப்படின்னு தோணுது. பட் தேர் என்ஜாயிங் லைக் எனிதிங். மேடம் உண்மையிலே வாழ்க்கையில் வந்து ஒரு ஹஸ்பண்ட் ஒய்ஃப் எப்படி இருக்கணும் அப்படின்றதுக்கு அது ஒரு உதாரணம். அது அவருக்கு தகுந்த மாதிரி அவங்க மேடம் வந்து காலையில் எழுந்திரிச்சு அவங்க சமைச்சு, அவங்க காலையில் அவங்க வீட்டுக்கு போனால் ஒரு கோயில் மாதிரி தான் இருக்கும் உண்மையிலேயே. இன்ஃபேக்ட் வந்து பார்த்திங்க அப்படின்னு கேட்டிங்கன்னா, அவங்க வீட்டுக்கு போய்ட்டு வந்து நானே என் ஒய்ஃப் சண்டை போடுறதை குறைச்சிட்டோம். ரியலி ஐ அம் டெல்லிங். இல்லை அவர் ஒரு இந்த மாதிரி பண்ணணும்னு நினைக்கிறப்ப, இன்றைக்கி நம்ம ஜென்ஸ் பாய்ஸ் எல்லாம் தெரிஞ்சுக்க வேண்டிய விஷயம் என்ன, நம்ம ஒரே ஒரு நேரம் நம்ம ஒய்ஃபுக்கு வந்து ஏதாவது சமைச்சு கொடுக்கணும், ஏதாவது ஹெல்ப் பண்ணணும் அப்படின்னா, ஈவன் அம்மாவுக்கே, அம்மா ஒரு நாள் வந்து சமைக்கலை அப்படின்னா நம்ம என்ன பண்ணுறோம், ஹோட்டலில் போய் சாப்பாடு வாங்கி கொடுங்கன்னு சொல்கிறோம். நம்ம ஒரு நாள் கூட நம்ம இறங்கி நான் சமைச்சு அம்மா அப்பா நீங்கள் உட்காருங்க நான் சமைச்சு போடுறேன்னு நம்ம சொன்னது கிடையாது இல்லையா, பாய்ஸ் பர்டிகுலர்லி. ஆனால் சார் வந்து எவ்ரிடே இஸ் குக்கிங், எவ்ரிடே, எதையுமே இழிவாக நினைக்கல. ஓகே, ஸோ இந்த மாதிரியான விஷயங்கள் நீங்கள் நிச்சயமாக கற்றுக்கணும். பாஸ் இன்றைக்கி இந்த செஷனில் என்ன விஷயம் கன்வே பண்ணணும்னு நினைக்கிறீங்க அப்படின்ற ஒரு முக்கியமான விஷயம் சொல்கிறப்ப, இவங்க எல்லாம் எக்ஸாம் எழுதி பாஸ் பண்ணுறது மட்டும் நம்மளோட நோக்கமாக இல்லை. நீ அங்கே போய் சிவில் சர்வீஸில் போய் ஜாயின் பண்ண அப்படின்னா, நம்ம ஸ்டூடெண்ட்டுன்றது இங்கே படித்து ட்ரெயின் ஆகி ஒருத்தன் ஐஏஎஸ் ஆகி போகிறான் அப்படின்னா, அவன் நல்ல சிவில் சர்வெண்ட்டாக இருந்தால் மட்டும்தான் நம்ம இவ்வளோ நாள் டைம் ஸ்பெண்ட் பண்ணதுக்கு ஒர்த்து. இல்லைன்னா இவனையா நம்ம க்ரியேட் பண்ணணும், தேவையே இல்லையே. ஓகே, ஏன்னா நீங்கள் கொடுக்குற மணிக்காகவோ நீ கொடுக்குற ஃபீஸ்க்காகவோ வி ஆர் நாட் ஹியர். அது பல நிகழ்ச்சிகளில் சொல்லியிருக்கேன். நான் பல நேரங்கள் சொல்லியிருக்கேன், அகாடமி நடத்துறதுக்கு தான் எனக்கு பணம் வேணும், பணத்துக்காக அகாடமி நடத்தலை அப்படின்றது பல நிகழ்ச்சிகள் சொல்லியிருக்கேன். நான் 2013 அந்த ஒரே நோக்கத்தோடு தான் பண்ணிக்கிட்டு இருக்கோம். ஸோ ஒரு ரெஸ்பான்சிபிளான அற்புதமான ஒரு பியூரோக்ராட்டாக நீங்கள் மாறணும் அப்படின்றதுக்காக தான் இது போன்ற ஒரு செஷன்ஸை வந்து வி ஆர் ஆர்கனைசிங் இட். ஸோ விஷ் ஆல் த பெஸ்ட். இன்னும் ஒரு முறை நல்ல ஒரு பழத்தை கைத்தட்டலோட சாருக்கு வந்து நம்மளுடைய நன்றிகளை தெரிவிச்சுப்போம். இன்னும் அடிக்கடி நீங்கள் வரணும் சார். அப்பப்போ நேரம் கிடைக்கிறதுலாம் ஓய்வு கிடைக்கிறப்பெல்லாம் ஒரு பசங்களுக்கு வந்து ஒரு டானிக் மாதிரி கொடுத்துட்டு போகணும். அன்னைக்கு முக்கியமான ப்ரோக்ராம்னு சொன்னார் பிரசிடெண்ட் வந்து அன்றைக்கி, பாஸ் உங்களை தான் பாஸ் அங்கே சேரில் உட்கார வைக்கிறதுக்கு பிளான் பண்ணியிருக்கேன், போன பிரசிடெண்ட் ஆஃப் இந்தியா வந்தப்போ எப்படி சேர் அமைப்பு இருந்ததோ அதே அமைப்பு தான் இருக்குது, நீங்கள் ஹோப் டு கம் அப்படின்னா. அதோடு ரொம்ப முக்கியமான வேலை இருக்குது அப்படின்னாரு. என்ன வேலைன்னா திருவண்ணாமலையில் போய் அன்னதானம் போட போகிறாரு. அங்கே போய் ஒரு நிகழ்ச்சியில் கலந்துக்கிறார். ஓகே, எனிவே லைஃப் இஸ் சம்திங் டிஃப்ரெண்ட். எவ்ரி ஏஜில் ஒரு விஷயத்தை லேர்ன் பண்ணுவீங்க, ஒரு விஷயத்தை ரியலைஸ் பண்ணுவீங்க. அதான் லைஃப். ஸோ லைஃப் வில் பி லைக் திஸ் ஆல்சோ அப்படின்றதுக்கு தான் இன்றைக்கி வந்து இந்த செஷன். தேங்க்யூ ஸோ மச் பாஸ். டே உடனே பேக்கை தூக்காதீங்க. ஏன்னா ஃபார்மலாக ஒருத்தர் ஓட் ஆஃப் தேங்க்ஸ் ரெடி பண்ணி வச்சுருந்தார். யார்? எனக்கு தெரிஞ்ச வரைக்கும் ஒரு ஸ்டூடெண்ட் யாராவது சொன்னீங்கன்னா பெட்டராக இருக்கும். அது ப்ரிப்பேர்டாக இல்லாமல் சம்திங். சுஷ்மிதா, யூ கம்.
I was actually not feeling well today. காலையில் பாதி கிளாஸ்லேயே ஐ வெண்ட் ஆஃப். நான் மத்தியானம் வரலாமா வேணாமாங்கிற ஒரு தாட்டில் தான் இருந்தேன். அண்ட் ஃபார்ச்சுனேட்லி ஐ ஹேட் தி ஆப்பர்ச்சுனிட்டி டு do the MC today as well. It was very enlightening to me. அதுவும் ஃப்ரண்ட் ரோவில் உட்காந்து கேட்கும்போது நான் இப்படியே தான் உட்காந்து கேட்டுட்டு இருந்தேன். இட் வாஸ் வெரி டிஃப்ரெண்ட். லைக் சார் சொன்ன மாதிரி ஒரு எக்ஸ்பீரியன்ஸ். நம்ம வந்து ஒரு சிவில் சர்வீஸ் எதுக்கோ ஒன்று போயிட்டு வந்ததுக்கப்புறம் சம்பாதிக்கணும், அதை வந்து எப்படி வேணால் யூஸ் பண்ணிக்கலாம் அப்படிங்கிற ஒரு தாட்டில் இருக்கும்போது பீயிங் வெரி எத்திக்கல் அண்ட் பீயிங் வெரி சிம்பிள் அண்ட் சர்வீஸ் ஓரியன்டட் இஸ் that is more richer and that gives more success அப்படின்ட்டு ஐ பிலீவ் இட். அண்ட் அதுக்கான நிறைய எக்ஸாம்பிள்ஸ் வந்து ரொம்ப ஹிடனாக இருப்பாங்க. அது வந்து யாரும் தே டோன்ட் வாண்ட் டு கம் அண்ட் ஷோ எவ்ரி திங். ஸோ தட் நிறைய பேருக்கு அதை பற்றின ஒரு அதுக்கு ஒரு எக்ஸாம்பிள் வந்து கிடைக்கிறது ரொம்ப டிஃபிகல்ட்டாக இருக்கும். எனக்கு இன்றைக்கி அது ஒரு எக்ஸாம்பிளாக கிடச்சது வந்து ஐ ஃபீல் இட் வெரி ஃபார்ச்சுனேட் enough. தேங்க்யூ சார். த ஆரா வாஸ் வெரி இம்பேக்ட்ஃபுல். தேங்க்யூ.
So I am very thankful to arrange for Bhumidhan sir for this section. So இவங்க இந்த அக்கா சொன்ன மாதிரி தான். ஸோ எனக்கு ரொம்பவே நாங்களும் ஃபஸ்ட் ரோவில் உட்காந்துட்டு சாரை பார்த்துட்டு நாங்களும் நிறையாவே கற்றுக்கிட்டோம். ஸோ நிறையா எத்திக்கல் டேலாமா சார் வந்துட்டு நிறையாவே சொன்னாங்க. ஸோ வந்துட்டு அந்த ஒரு சவுண்டு, அனிமல் சவுண்டை வச்சே சார் வந்துட்டு அந்த ஒரு இது பண்ணுறாங்கன்னா அது ரொம்ப பெரிய விஷயம். நம்மலாம் வந்துட்டு போணுச்சுன்னா நாயெல்லாம் வந்து கவுலாம் பார்த்தோம்னா பயந்துட்டு நிறையா பேர் ஓடுவோம், அது வேறு விஷயம். ஆனால் வந்துட்டு நம்ம போய் சாப்பாடு போடணும் அப்படின்னா நம்ம சில பேர் யோசிப்பாங்க, சில பேர் நான்லாம் வந்துட்டு பயந்து அந்த சைட்லாம் ஓடிடுவேன். ஸோ சார்லாம் வந்துட்டு பார்க்கும்போது சரி நம்ம வந்துட்டு ஒரு சிவில் சர்வெண்ட்டாக ஆகிட்டு கூட நம்ம எல்லாருக்குமே வந்துட்டு நல்ல இது ஹெல்ப் பண்ணணும். அந்த ஹெல்ப் பண்ணுற கெப்பாசிட்டி அது கேப்பபிள் சார்ட்டு வந்து நான் நல்லா இப்போது கொஞ்சம் நிறையா கற்றுக்கிட்டேன். ஸோ தேங்க்யூ சார், தேங்க்யூ ஃபார் திஸ்.
சார் இவங்க எல்லாமே ஃபீட்பேக்லாம் சொல்லிட்டாங்க. ஒரு 2 கொஸ்டின். நீங்கள் தான் இந்த ஹேவ் அ பிளான் அண்ட் ஒர்க் டுவர்ட் தட் டைரக்ஷன் தனியார் ஒன்றில் நீங்கள் தான் எழுதுனீங்களான்னு கேட்குறேன். பிகாஸ் யூ ஸ்போக் அபவுட் இட்.
ஸ்கிரிப்ட் ஒன்று இருந்தது அவங்க டைரக்டர்கிட்ட. அதில் வந்து என்னென்னா நம்ம இந்த வேல்யூ அடிஷன்னு பேசிகிட்டு இருந்தோம் இல்லையா, அதை வந்து என்ன அப்படின்னா எப்படி பண்ணலாம் அப்படின்ட்டு. ஸோ ஹி said நம்ம வந்து இந்த நிறைய க்ரைம்ஸ் எல்லாம் இது பண்ணுற மாதிரி அதை சால்வ் பண்ணுற மாதிரி இருக்கணும் அப்படின்ட்டு. ஸோ நம்ம என்ன செஞ்சோன்னா 1990 2013 வரை நடந்த இந்த நியூஸ் பேப்பர், நமக்கு தான் நியூஸ் பேப்பர் கிளிப்ஸு பழக்கமானதாச்சு. ஸோ நியூஸ் பேப்பர் அந்த க்ரைம்ஸ் எல்லாம் கலெக்ட் பண்ணி வி ஆர்கனைஸ்டு சம் 13 groups, இந்த 13 கேட்டகரிஸ் ஆஃப் க்ரைம் நடக்குது அப்படின்ட்டு. அதில் வந்து என்ன அப்படின்னா அதுக்கப்புறம் அதில் ஒரு டீம் உட்காந்து அதை ஸ்கோர் பண்ணோம். எதில் வந்து நாவல்ட்டி நல்லா இருக்குது எந்த கேட்டகரியில் அப்படின்ட்டு பண்ணிவிட்டு ஒரு 3 கேட்டகரியை சூஸ் பண்ணோம். அதுதான் அந்த படத்தில் இருக்கும். அதே மாதிரி என்ன அப்படின்னா அதில் பட்ஜெட் ரெஸ்ட்ரிக்ஷன் நிறையா இருந்தது. ஏஜிஎஸ் தான் அந்த மூவி எடுத்தாங்க. ஸோ அப்போ என்ன செஞ்சோன்னா அந்த படத்தை வந்து ஒரு ஃபுல் இது மாதிரி என்ன அதை என்ன அப்படின்னா ஒரு சீன்ஸ் எல்லாம் இது பண்ணி அதை நம்ம என்ன செஞ்சோன்னா அதில் அந்த டைலாக் மாதிரி போட்டுட்டு இதை ஒரு 3 மணி நேரம் அதாவது பவர் பாயிண்ட் ப்ரெசன்டேஷன் தான். அந்த ஃபுல் படம் எடுக்கிறதுக்கு முன்னாடி இது ஒரு 2 மாதம் ஒர்க் பண்ணி அந்த ஃபுல் இதை அங்கே ப்ரெசென்ட் பண்ணாங்க. ஸோ ஹி அப்ரூவ்டு ஃபார் என்ஹான்ஸ்டு பட்ஜெட். முதல்ல 15 crore ஏதோ சொன்னாங்க, அதுக்கப்புறம் 45 ஆகிட்டது. அதுதான் டைரக்டர் கேட்டது. ஸோ அந்த மூவி முடிஞ்ச உடனே மூவியையும் அந்த ப்ரெசன்டேஷனையும் பார்த்தோம். ஆல்மோஸ்ட் இந்த ப்ரெசன்டேஷன், ஏன்னா ப்ரெசன்டேஷனில் அந்த நோட்ஸ் எடுக்கிற மாரி அது கிட்டத்தட்ட இது இந்த சீன் இருக்கும்ட்டு. இப்போ படத்தில் அதில் நிறைய இன்சைட்ஸ் கொண்டு வந்தோம். என்ன அப்படின்னா, இது எல்லாமே நம்ம கண்டுபிடிச்சது கிடையாது. ஏன்னா ஹாலிவுட்டில் இதை ப்ராக்டிஸ் பண்ணிகிட்டு இருக்கிறாங்க. என்ன அப்படின்னா, இப்போ நம்ம மூவிஸில் அரௌண்ட் 100 சீன்ஸ் இருக்குது. அந்த 100 சீன்ஸில் ஒவ்வொரு சீன்லேயும் ஏதோ ஒரு எமோஷனை இன்க்ரீஸ் பண்ணணுமா. அது ஒரு ரூல் மாரி. நம்மகிட்ட ஒரு 8 எமோஷன் இருக்குது. அதாவது ஹாப்பினஸ், சாரோ, இந்த மாதிரி. இன்னும் அந்த 8 எமோஷனில் ஏதோ ஒரு எமோஷன் ஜாஸ்தியாக இருக்கணும். அப்போ தான் அது அந்த 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 சீனோட வேல்யூ அடிஷன். ஸோ இதை ஒவ்வொரு சீனையும் அந்த ஸ்கிரிப்டை வச்சு அனலைஸ் பண்ணி இதில் இருக்குது இல்லை அப்படின்னு சொல்லுவோம். நிறைய ஆர்குமெண்ட் வரும் எனக்கும் டைரக்டருக்கும். என்ன அப்படின்னா, அவர் கூட இருக்கிறவங்கெல்லாம் அவர் எது சொன்னாலும் ஒத்துப்பாங்க. என்ன அசிஸ்டன்ட் டைரக்டர்ஸ் எது சொன்னாலும் ஒத்துப்பாங்க. பட் என்னென்னா, நான் ஆர்கியூ பண்ணிக்கிட்டு இருப்பேன், இது நல்லா இல்லை அப்படின்ட்டு. அப்புறம் 2 நாள் கழிச்சு அவரே ஒத்துப்பார். நான் அதை ஆர்கியூ பண்ணிவிட்டு விட்டுருவேன், அதுக்கு மேலே ரொம்ப ப்ரெஷரைஸ் பண்ண மாட்டேன். பட் 2 நாள் கழிச்சு அவரே ஒத்துப்பார். அப்படியே நிறைய வாட்டி. ஆனால் அவர்கிட்ட உள்ள ஒரு இது என்ன அப்படின்னா, இப்போ வேலைக்காரன் படத்தில் ஒரு இது வரும், ஒரு இந்த சீனு என்ன அப்படின்னா, ஒரு ஹைப்பர் மார்க்கெட்டுக்குள்ளே ஃபஹாதும் சிவகார்த்திகேயனும் போகிற சீனு. இதுக்கு ஆக்சுவலாக என்ன அப்படின்னா, பிஹேவியரல் எக்கனாமிக்ஸ் சயின்டிஸ்ட்னு ஒருத்தர் யூகேயில் இருக்கார். அவரை இன்டர்வியூ பண்ணோம். அவர் எல்லா டிப்ஸும் எல்லாம் சொன்னார். இது ஆக்சுவலாக நான் மோகன் ராஜா கிட்டே இதை நம்ம நடத்துகிறது கிளாஸ் நடத்துகிற மாதிரி தான் இருக்கும். என்ன அப்படியே தேரி அப்படியே சொல்லிக்கிட்டு இருப்போம், நம்ம என்ன கேட்டோம், இது என்ன அப்படின்ட்டு. அவர் அதை நான் சொல்லி முடித்த உடனே அவர் ஒரு சீன் அப்படியே சொல்கிறாரு, சார் ஏற்கனவே இதை திங்க் பண்ணி வச்சுருந்தீங்களாண்ணே? இல்லை இப்போ தான் ஃபார்ம் பண்ணேன். அது அவங்களோட டேலண்ட்டு. நான் ஒரு ஃபேக்டாக சொல்லிகிட்டு இருக்கிறேன். அந்த ஃபேக்டெல்லாம் கரெக்டாக கனெக்ட் பண்ணி நான் சொல்லி முடித்தோன்னே அவர் ஒரு சீன் சொல்கிறாரு. ஃபார் எக்ஸாம்பிள், இப்போ என்ன பிஹேவியரல் எக்கனாமிக்ஸோட இதே என்ன அப்படின்னா, ரொம்ப எசென்ஷியல் திங்ஸு ஸ்டோரோட ஃபார்தர் எண்டில் இருக்கும், அது தேவையில்லாததெல்லாம் முன்னாடி இருக்கும். ஏன்னா அவன் கடைசி வரை அந்த இந்த இதை எடுக்கணும்னா மில்க் எடுக்கணும், அரிசி எடுக்கணும், பருப்பு எடுக்கணும்னா கடைசி வரை போகணும், கரெக்டாக. பட் இந்த சாக்லேட்ஸு இதெல்லாம் அதேமாரி ஐ லெவல் இஸ் த பை லெவல். குழந்தைகளுக்கான ஐட்டம் இந்த ஹைட்டில் இருக்கும், பெரியவங்களுக்கான ஐட்டம் இந்த ஹைட்டில் இருக்கும். இந்தமாரி நிறைய ஒரு 30 இது இருக்கும் அந்த இதில். அது அவ்வளோத்தையும் இன்டகிரேட் பண்ணி அதை நம்ம சொல்கிறது நான் சொல்கிற மாதிரி எடுத்தால் அது இதாகிடும். என்னது என்ன சொல்லுவாங்க, டாக்குமெண்ட்ரி ஆகிடும். அவர் அதை படமாக்கிட்டார் என்ன. ஸோ அது அவங்களோட டேலண்ட்டு. ஸோ அவர் ரியலி டேலண்டட் டைரக்டர். என்ன அப்படின்னா, இந்த இன்சைட்ஸ் எல்லாம் நல்லா எடுத்துப்பார், புதிய விஷயங்கள் அப்படி என்ன.
அதே போல் அந்த தனி ஒருவன் படத்தில் ஒரு ரூம் உள்ளே போனதுக்கப்புறம் அந்த நிறைய க்ரைம் சீன்ஸ் இல்லாத நிறைய ஸ்டிக்கர் மாதிரி ஒட்டி வச்சுருப்பாங்க, பார்த்துருக்கீங்களா? அதெல்லாம் சார் கொடுத்த இன்புட்டு. அது கம்ப்ளீட்டாக பண்ணால் அந்த மாதிரி இருந்தால் தான் இதாக இருக்கும் அப்படின்ட்டு. அந்த வில்லனை ஒரு இதாக எதிரி மிகப்பெரிய ஆளாக இருக்கணும். நீ உன் எதிரி யாருன்னு சொல்லு, உன் நண்பன் யாருன்னு சொல்லு, நீ யாருன்னு சொல்கிற அப்படின்ற மாதிரி அதில் ஒரு ஃபேமஸ் டைலாக் வரும், நீ எதிரியை ஃபஸ்ட்டு பெரிய ஆளாக ஃபிக்ஸ் பண்ணு அப்படின்ட்டு. அதெல்லாம் ஒரு சின்ன சின்ன விஷயங்கள். அதே போல் லபாஸ்னால் நடக்கிற விஷயங்கள் டைரக்டர்ஸ்க்கு தெரியாது, லபாஸ்னால் இருந்தவங்களுக்கு தான் தெரியும். அந்த ட்ரைனிங், அந்த ப்ராசஸ்ஸு, இந்த மாதிரி விஷயங்கள்லாம். அதனால் நல்ல சீக்வன்ஸ் அதில் நிறைய இடங்களில் ஒரு சக்ஸஸ் காரணம் இந்த மாதிரியான பிஸ்னஸ் அனாலிட்டிக்ஸை யூஸ் பண்ணது ஒன்று அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு அவர் நிறைய பேட்டிகளில் சொன்னார். ஓகே, ஃபைன்.
தேங்க்யூ ஆல்.
எக்ஸ்கியூஸ் மீ, இந்த புக்கு இந்த 2 ஷீட்டு பேப்பரை கொடுத்துருக்காரு சார். இது உள்ளே இருக்கக்கூடிய விஷயங்களை பற்றி நம்ம எக்ஸ்பிளைன் பண்ண நினச்சோம், டைம் இல்லை. இது பெரிய ஒரு ஒர்க் ஷாப் கண்டக்ட் பண்ணியிருக்காரு சார். நிறைய எஜுகேட்டர்ஸ்க்கு யூஸ்ஃபுல்லாக இருக்கக்கூடிய ஏஐ டூல்ஸை பற்றிய எல்லா அதோடைய அட்ரஸ் ஃபுல்லாகவே இதில் இருக்குது. இது உங்கள் ப்ரிப்பரேஷனுக்கு மிகப்பெரிய லெவலில் யூஸ்ஃபுல்லாக இருக்கும்.
இந்த ஒவ்வொரு டூலையும் நீங்கள் எப்படி யூஸ் பண்ணால் உங்கள் ப்ரிப்பரேஷனில் பேப்பர் எவாலுவேஷன்லேருந்து இன்டர்வியூ ப்ரிப்பரேஷன்லேருந்து எம்சிக்யூஸ் ஃபார்ம் பண்ணுறதுலேருந்து எல்லாமே எப்படி இருக்குன்றதை பற்றி ஒரு ஸ்பெஷல் செஷன்ஸ் நம்ம வந்து பிளான் பண்ணிக்கலாம். ஸோ அதுக்கு முன்னாடி இதை நீங்களே யூஸ் பண்ணி பார்த்துட்டு வாங்க நீங்கள். ஓகே, பை.